Something's different.
I am changing.
I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha.
We need to talk.
It means everything they showed us is real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked. There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster.
Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I would make sure it doesn't.
Okay, ding-dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Aren't Cooey.
Remember indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all to the Fromville Hour. And here we go, folks. Here we go. I can't believe it, but we are finally approaching the finale of season 4. Only one episode remains, ladies and gents. And hopefully this finale is going to be one to remember, a finale for the ages that will give us, hopefully, a lot of good things to chew on while we wait for season 5, the 5th and final season to come around. But I don't know, every week it just feels surreal. These last 2 or 3 weeks has felt surreal that this season has whipped by this fast. I cannot believe we are already approaching the finale. And then what are we going to do? What are we going to do without Julie's wig for the next few months while we wait for season 5? I don't know how we're going to survive without the wig.
I don't think we can. I don't think you can survive without me at this point.
So.
But, it's going to be a rewatch. But I feel like this season, more than the others, just went by so quickly. I don't know why. It's not like we had less episodes. We still had the same amount, but it went by way more quickly than the last season.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it's going to be, just a rewatch. We're going to start all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully the finale is going to be something amazing, but I don't want a cliffhanger. Everybody's saying it's going to be a cliffhanger, and I don't want them to do that because they usually don't. They give us like at least a big revelation, right? Like with the Men in Yellow, we knew
Mhm.
kind of what was going on. Like he killed Jim, so we knew he's bad. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of both. I wouldn't be surprised if we get I'm expecting at least one big revelation or at least one big twist. I'd be surprised if they don't at least give us one of that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they give us that and a hanger ending, like a big reveal that leads into a cliffhanger ending. I could totally see getting a little bit of both in the finale.
Okay, I would like that. That's fine with me.
That'd be
Give
better.
me a reveal, please. Find Sophia out. I mean, come on at this point. Just like Elgin is begging to die. He's like, please kill me.
He
Please
is.
kill me.
He's
Somebody kill
asking
me.
for it. He's asking for it at this fucking point. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
And
man.
Sophia is begging to be found out. She's
Yeah.
so obvious. She's like cutting the rope with her little knife, which, by the way, in the
Yeah.
trailer, she might be using that same knife to maybe hurt Elgin. Maybe
Maybe.
that's why she's making that movement. Because she has that little knife, remember?
She does. She does have that little knife. I remember that. Yeah, I mean, whatever she's doing in that movement, I'm sure it's, something that's going to be far different than what it looks like at the very least. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Elgin made a just completely ridiculous choice in episode 9 when, you stumble upon something that's a little bit strange, a little bit weird, and you got to kind of stop and remember where you are. You're in Fromville right now, and you more than anyone, Elgin, knows how this place can manipulate, knows how dangerous this place can be. So if you see something that's even the slightest bit questionable, like, I don't know, a picture of somebody standing around in the 70s that is out there right now in your fucking yard, I probably wouldn't approach that person first. Call me crazy, call me overly cautious, but I probably wouldn't go directly to that person and just show them the picture. I'd probably go to the sheriff, but maybe I'm crazy.
No. I mean, listen. Oh my God. I'm telling you, Elgin is going to be one that we talk for the ages about. So Kenny, the actor that plays Kenny, was on TikTok and he was watching the episode. He likes to watch them every Sunday. He was watching with the actor that plays Elgin, and he turned to him and said, "What are you doing? Why would you do that?" Like, even he couldn't understand the reasoning behind making his character do this, right? And the thing is that it's not just that he found something suspicious, like a dress or a spoon or a fork. He found the picture, dude. And it's not just like a regular picture. He found the same style of picture that he already got in trouble with. So you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even hard to put 1 and 2 together. These pictures get him in trouble. He knows what happened last time. He knows they're not good. And also, it's not like he's just looking through things without knowing the purpose. He knows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because Boyd told them, this is the purpose. This guy is out there. He is bad. So he had all of this knowledge of, we are looking because there's somebody amongst us or somebody around here that can hurt us. So he knew the purpose. It's a Polaroid again. I mean, how many times do you need a picture to get you in trouble? How many times does it have to be the exact same way? So,
I mean, and it's like you said, he already knew the task. He knew that they were specifically looking for anything suspicious, anything that could point to anything even a little bit weird. And he comes upon the strangest thing you could possibly find, and he doesn't bring it to Boyd. Again, it really, I don't know. Poor Elgin, man. But Elgin versus the Polaroid. The Polaroid is fucking winning. That's for sure. The Polaroid is winning up until this point. But yeah, again, and you understand, why, at least, storytelling wise, they wanted to do this. They want to put Elgin's character in this predicament, in this dangerous predicament, and leave us as the audience wondering what's happening to him. So I get what they wanted to do, but man, it just paints Elgin in such an idiotic light, like someone that really just hasn't learned anything from the stuff that he's been through here in Fromville. But again, I get what the writers wanted to do. They want Elgin to be in that dangerous situation. I just feel like there's a better way that they could have got him there without making him look like a total fool. But it should be interesting to see what's going to happen. And again, I guess I'd love to know what you guys think as well in the chat, and you as well, PM. What is going to happen to Elgin? There's been tons of theories going around as to what exactly is going to happen. Is he going to get killed? Is she going to use him in some manner? I don't know. Part of me just has a feeling he's too lucky to die. Like, I feel like Elgin, is a character that if he did die, I don't want to say it would be deserved, but he's definitely made some mistakes. But I feel like the characters like Elgin that do these kinds of things usually are the characters that don't end up getting hurt. They get people around them hurt. So part of me wouldn't be surprised if Elgin does survive this and she uses him in some way.
I mean, that would be crazy. Like I said, you can't even threaten this man. You can't even say, Elgin, I'm going to threaten you. If you do X, Y, Z, I'm going to threaten you. That doesn't work. Boyd threatened him and told him, hey, don't tell anybody anything, like behave, basically listen to me. And he still didn't. So I don't know. If I was Sophia, I wouldn't even trust him as a mole or anything like that. I'd be like, this guy for sure will mess up my plan. Like, I've had centuries of plans that have worked out, but this dude is going to be the one to bring me down because he doesn't follow directions.
That's my Achilles heel. Although Chill Frog TV brings up a really good point. I would love to get the chat's opinion on this as well. Elgin is still smarter than Ellis. I mean, I guess it's a very good question. I mean, who would you want having your back? Like, I guess if your life was on the line and you had to have either Elgin or Ellis backing you up, who would you rather have at your back when your life was on the line? If you had to pick one of them, Elgin or Ellis?
It's a good question.
I think I'd go with Ellis. I think I'm with Chill Frog on this. I think I'd go with Ellis. Ellis at least has showed the capacity that he has learned a little bit, like he has improved a little bit. Yes, I mean, I know he gets memed on a lot as a character, but yeah, I think I would pick Ellis over Elgin having my back. I think. Hope I'm not making the wrong choice.
I was rewatching the first episode actually of From, and you see more of Kenny and Ellis' relationship. Boyd is over there trying to help the Matthews family. So Father Cawtrey, Christy, Kenny are in a little truck. They go by, they see Ellis, and they're like, hey, there's a pretty bad car crash. We need your help. Can you get in and help us? Your dad is out there. And he stands there and he stares at them and he's thinking nah, I don't really want to go. And Kenny gets so frustrated with him. He screams at him from like all the way in the corner of the truck. And he's like, can you just get in? We don't have time. So that has always kind of been the relationship. He didn't want to go help his dad. I just don't trust this dude. Like he had so many opportunities to stand by his own dad.
Yeah, no, it's true.
He was trying to keep him and his girlfriend and the town safe, and he's still like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it. So him, I don't trust. Now, Elgin, I would pick Elgin. And I'll tell you why. I would show up, tell Elgin, I'm an angel, Elgin. I have been sent here. I'm an angel, and you need to do exactly what I say. And if you scare him enough in that way, he probably could do more. I mean, we have seen him do some horrible stuff. So I think he could be, more of an asset, I guess. Well, but you just have to scare him in the right way.
Yeah, motivate him in the right way. And no, it's a good point. The right motivation might be the key. But different moves different moves comment just reminded me of something. Reminded me of actually one of my favorite scenes in the entire series of From that has very much to do with Elgin. Different moves brings up, to be fair, Elgin has saved a few people at this point. And you're right. I got to say, even though with all the mistakes that Elgin made, one of the greatest scenes, I think, or at least one of my favorite scenes in From, is in season 2, right after Ellis gets stabbed. And out of everyone, nobody knows what to do. And Elgin steps up. He runs out there by himself, grabs the van, brings it up to the door of Colony House, gets Ellis in it, and then goes on a crazy fucking drive from Colony House to the medical clinic, gets him there in time, ends up saving his life. So I'm glad that you brought that up, different moves, because it, reminded me of that scene. And that was one of the cooler scenes, I think, in terms of like action scenes in From. I love the POV of that shot, how the cameraman is right there in the van with them. And we see just this crazy kind of driving scene going through these, the crappy roads of Fromville, trying to get from Colony House to where the clinic is. And I just remember how intense that whole, car chase scene was. Not so much a car chase, but that car scene was. You see Elgin, he's driving through just pitch dark, can't see anything in front of him. He's hitting branches and everything, but somehow he manages to get Ellis there. So again, like you said, different moves for all of Elgin's mistakes. He has legit saved people's life and stepped up in really big ways before. The whole Ellis stabbing in particular. So yeah, I mean, maybe Elgin might be better in a pinch. And yeah, Elgin did take out Roger too. This is true. Yeah. Elgin took out Roger. Did I just completely underestimate Elgin? I think I did. And I think different moves helped me realize that. Ellis hasn't done shit when it comes to anything like that. So I don't know. I'm glad
I think you might be right. I think you might be right, Jeremy. I think you're right because look, I know I picked Elgin. But I think maybe I'm wrong too, because all of those are positive things that Elgin did. Okay, that's what his character did. He literally killed Roger the night before. So you would think, oh, he's learning. Yeah. He's seeing it right in front of his face. This world is supernatural. And it's after us. It wants to kill us. Like these are not good things that are happening to us. Does he learn? No. The next day he finds the Polaroid and he goes straight up to Sophia. So he doesn't learn. All of these things have happened, and the way that they wrote this scene for his character makes it seem like he has done all of these things, but instead of having an arc of losing that belief, perhaps the innocence of belief, and becoming like a little smarter, they just kind of, I don't know, they made him more stupid. It just seems silly, right? And then the audience is going to think, oh, he deserves what he gets. And really, it's like, you're putting him in that position. But yes, I would tell Elgin that my halo, if he started asking questions about my wig and why my hair's so big, I'd be like, Elgin, listen, I can't let people see my halo. If people see my halo, everybody's going to know I'm an angel. It's under here. That's why my hair is so big. Just trust me, Elgin. Go kill somebody for me.
It's an angel wig. It's an angelic wig at the end of the day. But yeah, I think it's I think the Elgin Ellis thing debate is pretty interesting. And just looking at the chat, it seems like the chat is coming up with some really good evidence for both picking Elgin or Ellis, and we're going to look at all of them. But first, we got I Am Two Fly Cam for $2. Thank you so much, I Am Two Fly. Very much appreciate it. Looking back, I think Tilly was the man in yellow. Thoughts? And this has been a pretty interesting theory that has kind of gained steam a little bit more since season 4 started, since we found out that the man in yellow is a shapeshifter. A lot of people have been looking back at Tilly and wondering, okay, maybe that's why Tilly was so suspicious. Maybe Tilly was the man in yellow. And I think it's a fun theory, personally. Like, it is kind of a cool theory. But just me, I think Tilly was just Tilly. At the end of the day, I think she was just a kooky old lady that was a little overbearing, a little, kind of lacking boundaries, saw Fatima in this kind of state, thought that she knew what Fatima needed, and was a little too forceful with trying to help Fatima, even though Fatima was, pretty much telling her, hey, back off. At the end of the day, I just think Tilly was just a quirky old lady that was trying to help and just went about it the wrong way and got hurt. Tragically got hurt because of it. But I like the man in yellow theory, if nothing else. It is a cool theory. But let me know what you guys think in the chat, and you as well, PM. Looking back, now that we have seen everything that we have seen, do you think there's a possibility that Tilly could have been the man in yellow, or was she just Tilly?
I like the idea. Because that woman was crazy. I mean, she was so out of pocket. Maybe in that fanny pack, we never got to see what was in there. That fanny pack had the teeth. That's where
Yep.
she was keeping those teeth.
Ooh,
So that would
fanny
make
pack
sense.
full of
The
teeth.
fanny pack was full of teeth. But the only thing that's keeping me from going full in on the theory is
Mhm.
that Tilly was in the bus and she came with all of these people and they remember her. Otherwise, they would have said, dude, she wasn't on the bus with us. All of a sudden, she just got on the bus, right? It
Mhm.
seemed like they just made a straight entrance into the town. So the men in yellow would have to have the ability to be outside of From to board the bus and then arrive with them.
Yeah.
And because I don't see how he would be able to kind of take over her body or like kill her. Sophia could only do that with her quote unquote daddy, the pastor, because he was alone. But I
Exactly.
mean, this is a bus. This is
Yeah.
a full on bus. So they're going to notice. That's the only
Mhm.
thing that's keeping me from being all in on the theory. But she
Yeah.
was wild. I also didn't understand how people were just like giving her all this information and didn't think it was weird that she was asking all these questions. And
Mhm.
she's the one that told Boyd, oh, yeah, so and so is in the forest. They're back from their
Oh, yeah,
adventure.
Kenny's up at the clinic or something like that. Yeah, Christy's
Yeah.
up at the clinic. I just saw her. And he's like, what the fuck? How do you know that? Yeah.
Beware of people that are too comfortable. She was one of those people that are way too comfortable with you
Yes.
before they know you.
Exactly.
That is the vibe that she gave me.
Yeah.
There's some
Way
people
too
that you're
overbearing.
like I legit like don't know you, and there's one thing being nice, but the other one is like they're way too comfortable with you, and that's how she was acting towards Fatima, towards Ellis, to the point where Ellis asked her, "Why are you so invested in us?" And that's when she's like, "Oh, call me a romantic." Call me a romantic. It's like,
Yeah.
no, lady, you,
No, you're just creepy.
yeah.
You're just creepy. Yeah. Again, I just always thought she was just just a quirky old lady that was just a little too overbearing and trying to help. I never really got anything supernatural or Man in Yellow vibes from her. I get the suspicion that her character gets because she's so kind of quirky and out there, and the tarot cards and the rain dance and all of that. But like you said, you bring up a really good point. It would have been very difficult for the Man in Yellow to somehow somehow shapeshift into a body, get onto that bus without anyone knowing. It's just very unlikely at the end of the day. So yeah, I think Tilly was just Tilly. But I do think it's a cool theory. Again, it's a popular theory that seems to be talked about a lot. But at the end of the day, I think she was just good old rain dancing Tilly. But thank you so much. I am Two Fly Cam for the $2. Very much appreciated, my friend. I owe you a whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, let's see what you guys are saying on the topic of Elgin versus Ellis, like we were talking about a little while ago. Who would you rather have your back if your life was on the line? Elgin or Ellis? Which one you picking? I pick Ellis. I need to go out. I need to go out of that freaking town. No call, a lifeline to win $500,000. Pick Ellis. Maybe Ellis is the way to go. Maybe Ellis is the way to go. You need Elgin. You need pawns who don't think before they act. I know. I don't need a bad artist. That's mad. That's mad in his dad. That's mad at his dad. I don't need a bad artist. That's mad at his dad. I mean, Elgin has. Again, I'm so glad that Different Moves brought up the whole Elgin has saved people in the past comment, because it did make me remember that one very specific scene where he completely stepped up and saved Ellis, and, from certain fucking death. So yeah, again, I think there's some good evidence for both. I pick Ellis. Took a knife straight to the gut and survived. Anyone can lose an eye.
But listen, for every good thing that he's done an equally
something
stupid
shit.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, he saved Ellis, okay, from getting stabbed by Adele.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also kidnaps Ellis's wife and baby.
And then kidnaps
which
Fatima.
supposes is their baby. So yeah, you saved me, but then you kidnapped my baby or supposed baby and wife. And then the egregious thing here, is you sign up with me to look for them. You kidnap them and then you're with me out there in the woods looking for them. That's crazy. He could have gone with anybody else, but he's like, hey, Ellis, do you want to be my partner? He helped Ellis look for his wife that was missing that he kidnapped. That's
So
wild.
that is what that's diabolical. That is straight up insanity level stuff right there. Like the old saying, sometimes it's bad to be around like a really bad drunk, because a really bad drunk will steal your wallet and then help you look for it. Like that's Elgin in a nutshell. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, he saved a few people, but like you said, he's also done a lot of dumb things as well. Not to talk about episode 9. I mean, hey, we can talk about any episode you guys want to at any moment, anytime. But Jeremy, I saw an interview with the writers talking about Clara being the mole, and it was definitely fan service. Oh, interesting. They said it was never planned. They said it was never in the plans, then it evolved into that. Again, it did kind of read that way. Like this was never really a plan from the very beginning. But then again, who knows? Who knows what the writers really planned? But that's interesting if they discussed it on an interview. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Ellis is not going to risk breaking a nail by doing work. I mean, and that was the problem that Kenny was kind of having with him when they end up finding Sophia tethered to the tree with the rebar through her head. They're out there going to check the traps. Like, this is at the very beginning of the food shortage, when the food is only just starting to get scarce. So checking these traps is very vital. Not only checking them, but making sure that you can reset them, because a storm had just kind of come in the night before and the traps were kind of blown all over the place in the woods. So they're out there checking the traps, and yeah, you see Kenny doing his work, and he turns around and Ellis just sitting there fucking picking flowers. So yeah, I mean, he has been shown in the past to not be an incredibly hard worker, for sure.
Ellis, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to let you guys go to town on them, okay? You could go ahead and roast them, but then I'm going to redeem both of these characters, because there is a way, trust me, there is a way of looking at both characters, even with everything that they've done and the way that they have behaved, that makes sense.
Oh,
But
100%.
roast them first. Let's go in on the comments. What else do you guys have to say about him?
Yes, Elgin is innocent. He has pure heart. He is just easily manipulated by the voices and spirits like Sarah. And again, Elgin is the type of personality, the type of person that this place or the voices does seem to target. The Sarahs, the Elgins, these kind of people. That are, maybe they have their faith, so they're easily manipulated, or they're innocent, so they're a little bit easy kind of to, influence. Yeah, I mean, if I'm Fromville and you're going to try and get people, on your side to do your bidding, then obviously you're going to go for the most pliable, like in Elgin. It's always the ones you underestimate. That's for sure. That's for sure. Elgin, great in a split-second emergencies, but give him more than a minute to think, and he just bombs. And that's actually not a bad description, just Lacey, because again, he wasn't really thinking when he saved Ellis. That was actually a really heroic thing that Elgin did. Nobody knew what to do. He's bleeding out. It's the middle of the night. Christie's all the way at the clinic. They have no way of doing anything to save Ellis. And he steps the freak up. He runs out there on it by himself with monsters all over the place, grabs the van, gets close to even getting caught at one point, gets it up to Colony House, gets him in, gets him all the way to the clinic, and again, is without a doubt the reason that Ellis is alive today. Elgin 100% saved him. But then again, that was a split-second decision, something that he wasn't probably thinking too much about. He just kind of went and acted on instinct. But yes, you give him a minute to kind of think about things, he might have the same result. So I think
give him a minute to think, and he'll kidnap your wife. Yes, he'll save you from getting stabbed. Give him a minute to think. He'll kidnap your wife and baby. So I don't know.
Exactly. No, I think that's a very apt way to describe Elgin. He's good in the moment, but you give him a second to think, and he's gonna fuck something up or kidnap your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because Elgin is kidnapping everybody up in here. But I like what Xavier is saying. Ellis does want to be homecoming king of Fromville.
Oh,
Ellis and Fatima were like king and queen of the prom
yeah.
and Colony House.
Oh, yeah.
They always depicted them in that manner, and Ellis full on believed it because he has that painting where he is Adam
Adam and
and she
Eve.
is Eve.
Yeah.
Like he feels it too. He's like, we are the king and queen of Colony House. He
Mhm.
felt it. He knows it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he does. He does. You definitely he projects that vibe where he and Fatima feel like they're this the cool kids of Colony House, the couple everybody looks up to. But yeah, I don't know. They should have both worked together. Ellis could have been the mole. Ellis could have been the role model Elgin needed since he was older. Maybe. But I feel like Ellis himself needs a role model of his own. But yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Yeah, I should have put the picture in his pocket, snuck out of the back of the diner, and went straight to Boyd. That would have been the smart move. Absolutely, Xavier. 100% agree with you. I mean, again, Boyd gave him this kind of task because he knew that he was supposed to be looking for something suspicious, anything out of the ordinary. And I would say that this qualifies as out of the ordinary coming across this picture. So yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have pocketed it, went to Boyd, went to Donna, or even Acosta if I had to, if she was the only one nearby. But yeah, you don't go right to the person, even if you're just kind of, and again, he kind of walks up to her very nonchalantly, like jokingly, like, hey, Sophia, check this out. This person looks like you. How crazy is that? And I think that was the part that was that was most annoying, was his delivery of it. Just like super like nonchalant, just like, hey, check this out. You kind of look like this person, don't you? Man, Elgin, what are you doing, bro?
But also, I mean, he doesn't know about Sophia. I know that we see her going around very confident.
No, but he knows he's looking for something suspicious.
He knows he's looking for something suspicious. And then let's say that you're like, oh, whatever, he's just a nice kid.
He's a kid.
If he is a nice kid, Sophia's supposed to be a 15-year-old girl who lost her dad. Her dad died. It's the only person she had with her. And now she's a 15-year-old girl here in town. The closest person to her is Sarah, who she lives with, who is spooky. So do you go and show her something scary? Like, look at this picture from the 70s. It looks like your face. Do you want to get freaked out? It's also not making sense in that way. If he's such a nice kid, like this girl's by herself, you wouldn't show her something scary like that. Either way, it doesn't make sense. She's very confident. And that's why I think, why isn't anybody picking up on the fact that this 15-year-old girl who's basically by herself is super confident walking around town by herself? She's not even hanging out with Sarah, right? She's just walking the streets by herself. When she tells Boyd, oh, I'm just doing my part, I would just think a little weird, but
Yeah, I mean, the way that she's adjusted to life here in Fromville, I know she has that one little scene with Sarah where she kind of, and it was a good scene, I must say. Sophia really was convincing when she's telling Sarah, like, after Sarah almost catches her with the clothes, with the suit inside the backpack. Sophia kind of, plays it off like they're just random clothes that don't fit her, and she's not doing too well in here. Like she played it really well. She sold it very well. But apart from that one scene, every time you see Sophia, it seems like she's just incredibly well adjusted. Like she's having no problem kind of adapting to life in this place. And I know that Christy and Marielle kind of bring it up a little bit in that one scene when they're kind of looking at her. The scene when she's standing by the pool before she throws herself into the pool. We see Christy and Marielle kind of discussing it a little bit, that they're kind of, surprised how well she's adjusting to this place, or they think that maybe it just hasn't hit her yet. But yeah, I mean, this is a 16-year-old girl that is here alone, no family, no friends, and her father supposedly just died. A horrific death, at that. This person would not be this well adjusted. They just wouldn't. So you would think that it would have kind of garnered a little bit more suspicion by now, especially from the more inquisitive and the kind of smarter people in town, like the Boyds and stuff, and the Donnas.
And you assign her to someone. It is what it is. They decided to go the way that they did. But you assign her to somebody because Boyd says she can't be any more than 15. She just lost her dad. How do you tell her, that she's probably going to die here? So you know that she's a kid. You assign her to a person. I know that they let her choose Sarah as the person to live with, but come on, Kenny, Donna, Boyd, somebody should assign her to a normal, regular person because she is a kid. Like, oh, why don't you go to the Matthews house? They have another teenager. Why don't you go to another place that is closer to people your age? Maybe even Colony House. I mean, bad things are not happening there as much anymore.
Mhm.
I suspect, with all the drama, who has time for their sex parties? But right, to be around people. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. They decided to make her, I don't know, a super villain that could get away with everything until she wants to. Hopefully, she gets discovered. But I
Mhm.
think let's redeem Elgin a little bit, okay?
Mhm.
The only way that Elgin, the character, makes sense to me is if the writer wanted the moral of the story of Elgin to be that faith, your religion, your faith can literally blind you at
Oh,
times to
100%.
where you're unable to see
It's a
reality.
cautionary tale of blind faith, definitely.
Because he says this to Julie. He's like, I believe that there is truth in this place, but there's so much that we see that is untruth that it's keeping us from believing what is real. He says that like he understands it, and yet his faith has blinded
Definitely.
him to the point where he can't see reality. Because we could see Kimono Lady being bad from a mile away. He couldn't because his faith blinded him from seeing what was clearly happening. She tried to drown him. I mean, just, oh my God, dude. She
And
tried to
that's what makes
drown
it so
him.
crazy. Like this thing, the first time you saw this thing, it tried to drown you. Yet his faith was so blind that he was still managed to convince himself that this was some angelic figure. That is very dangerous. And yeah, I think that very much I feel like it very much highlights that these kind of beliefs you need to be more critical about, especially at this place in Fromville. He's not in the real world. He's in Fromville. So yeah, Elgin is a huge cautionary tale. 100% agree with you.
Mhm. Blind faith, like literally, he lost an eye.
Yeah,
His faith blinded him. Like it cost him an eye. He cannot see reality. He
literally
understands
blind.
enough. Literally blind. No, I'm telling you, that is the moral of his story.
Oh,
And he's probably
absolutely.
going to die.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's probably going to die because really he's not an asset. He's probably going to die. And that will be the moral of his story. Blind faith is not a good thing. Sarah told him, they're preying upon you because you're
Sarah tried.
so kind.
She tried to warn him. She did try to warn him that, she had been through this. She's recognizing what you're going through right now because she had been through it. This place preys on people like you. And Elgin took that as her trying to baptize him. Oh shit, golden child. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. I feel like Elgin's storyline screams cautionary tale of blind faith and the dangers that it can lead people down. And again, it seems like he still hasn't even 100% really learned his lesson, as he's still believing that there is some kind of truth to be figured out here through all the lies. And Elgin still maybe believes deep down somewhere that he's going to be able to sift through those lies and find the ultimate truth. And I think that's going to get him in trouble if he survives at all.
I mean, I think we're done with his story. It is what it is. The moral of the story was blind faith. I think
We could easily kill him off, yeah.
we are getting rid of characters, I'm guessing, because we are coming up on the end, the last season.
Yep.
So when you look at all of the characters, the cast, yeah, we could probably do without Elgin. We probably could. That's just the reality. We have our main cast. If they want to get rid of somebody, Elgin is not, the worst
Perfect.
thing. That
It's a
way they
perfect
leave us with the other people. Don't
Yeah.
get rid of Donna. Do not get rid of poor Victor. He's been through so much. And don't touch my Boyd. If you want to take Elgin. That's fine.
Yeah. Elgin, again, if he were to get killed off at this point, he would have had a fulfilled storyline up until this point with a good underlying message for the audience that goes along with it. And not every character can kind of go through a show and have that much of an impact on the audience. Not every character has that kind of message where you can learn a very cautionary tale from this character's storyline. So again, I think it would be a very meaningful death if they were to kill him off now. Wouldn't be a wasted character by any means. Please God, take Donna, says Admiral. Oof. Yeah, I don't know, man. I am wondering who is going to die in this finale, and how long this finale is going to be. I'm hearing it's going to be around 70 minutes long, 74 minutes long. I know there were reports going around that it was going to be like an hour and a half. I don't think that's the case. They've never done an episode that long, and that just seems a little far-fetched. But yeah, I am wondering what characters, or maybe characters potentially plural, are going to bite the dust in this final episode. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. Who is a goner? Who is not going to make it to season 5? Again, I can picture a good handful of characters that I certainly wouldn't mind see going. But I don't know.
I think, take Christy and Elgin
Christy
and Henry.
Henry.
Christy, Elgin, Henry. Who else? Clara. Take Clara and Sophia. Those, leave my other people alone. Let my people go. But Ellis, let's talk a little bit about Ellis, because we also were, roasting Ellis.
Yes.
We can also, if I was the writer, right? And people are complaining about Elgin, I would say the moral of his story is blind faith. That's why I made him so stupid towards the end, guys. And if I was the writer and I was talking about Ellis, I would just say the moral of his story is an extreme focus on Fatima being his everything. He is very codependent. Very codependent. When she says, you can't go with me down to the clinic, he's like, he explains the reason why he's acting in this manner. And he says, Fatima, you are my home. And if something happens to you, then I don't have a home anymore. So he has made Fatima, his wife, the center of his world. His mother is gone. So he literally doesn't have any other person that feels like home. Yes, he has a father, but we know that relationship is strained, because it's not going to feel like home when he killed your mom. The person that would probably have the most potential of feeling like a home to you. So now you have Fatima. He can't lose her. If he loses Fatima or removes his attention away from Fatima, he's afraid that he's going to lose that one person that makes him feel safe.
Yeah.
That's why he's so freaked out. He's so hyper focused on her. And he said it. If I lose you, I lose my home. Like, what am I going to do then?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think she keeps him safe. And I think that Ellis also looks at Fatima as that one person that keeps him mentally grounded. Because we hear Ellis talk a little bit about that at the beginning of season 3 last year, when he talks about, how Fatima, is losing it a little bit. And Boyd tells Ellis that you need to be her anchor. You need to be the thing that keeps her grounded to this place. And I think Ellis very much views Fatima as that exact same kind of thing, where he views her as the only thing that kind of keeps him grounded, that keeps him sane. We know that a lot of people in Fromville, they like to have that one thing to focus on, the thing that keeps them anchored, that keeps them from maybe getting manipulated by the forces in this place. And I think that very much is what Fatima represents to Ellis. He's the thing that keeps him anchored, essentially. So yeah, he can't survive without her, to the point where it is very, unhealthy even at times, codependency. But yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of these characters. Most of them come with either cautionary tales of something or lessons, real world lessons that you can learn from their storylines. And that's one of the things that I have always liked about From and the kind of character driven storylines that we get apart from just the mystery. You look at every one of these characters and you can learn something about life from them. Every single one of them is going through something very, very real, even though there's supernatural shit going on all over the place. Every single one of these characters are all dealing with something incredibly human at the end of the day. And there is something you can learn from every single one of their storylines. And that is a mark of good writing, in my opinion. But yeah, it seems like Ellis, Marielle, Henry, R.I.P. people are saying. Some people are thinking that Fatima is going to turn to a monster. We got some Marielle and Henry. We got some Elgin's going to go. Christy's going to go. I think Jade's going to be a goner. I'm very worried about if this I mean, if I didn't know for sure we had a 5th and final season, I would have think, yes, I think Jade could potentially go, just based on some of the dialogue that we see in the episode 10 trailer. You know, that one scene when he's talking to Tabitha and he's telling her, you know, you need to survive, you need to break the cycle, not we need to. You know, it almost came across as like he was saying a goodbye to her. But I feel like it's just way too soon to kill off Jade. He'll probably survive, but that dialogue was very interesting. What do we have here? Oh, I think she doesn't change, does she? This is very early on, right? This is season 1, if I
This
remember
episode
correctly.
1.
Episode
If
1.
they told us all of the answers are in episode 1, I think that this is I don't want Fatima to change into a monster. I just don't want that to be how her story ends.
She doesn't change, does she? Yeah.
Ellis is drawing, you know, another picture of Fatima. We see his room is covered with sketches of Fatima. And he's making another one that we see later on completed, also hanging in his room, in their room. And that's the first thing that, you know, Boyd says to Ellis about Fatima. I mean, she doesn't change, does she? Question mark. It's like, does she? I'm asking myself too, Boyd. Is that foreshadowing? Are you gonna tell me that she's gonna change? Because I feel the exact same way. She doesn't change, does she?
Good
Could
call.
she? What's going on here?
PM. Man, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about this fucking scene. I mean, yeah. I mean, have they been foreshadowing it the whole time? Shit.
I hope she doesn't change. I mean, that's gonna kill Ellis. I'm telling you, that man will die. Anything happens to Fatima, that man will take himself out or die.
Yeah.
How does he survive without her?
I don't know. You know, like we were just discussing, she is his everything. She's his anchor. She's his, you know, his wife, his whole world for living, his muse, like his inspiration, his creative inspiration. Everything that Ellis lives for is inside Fatima. She is everything. And yeah, I mean, you know, I get how much he loves her, and that's great and all of that, but you also need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Codependency is something that can get very, very dangerous if left unchecked. So yeah, you see something happen to Fatima, there's no way he's going to survive that. I could totally see him, you know, potentially trying to harm himself, even if that happens, because he's just so attached to her. So that could be bad. That could be bad. Yeah, it's not Fatima anymore. It's Fantoma. I mean, maybe Fatima could actually really potentially turn into a monster. I know a lot of people think she is. Again, you look at the veins, you look at some of the symptoms that she's exhibiting. It does line up a bit with some of the symptoms the monsters have. The dark blue and purplish veins. But then, of course, you also look at her heartbeat, her blood pressure, how it seems to be getting lower and lower and lower to the point where she shouldn't even be upright, let alone she shouldn't even be alive, let alone upright and walking around. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe sometimes the simplest answer is the right one, and maybe the simple answer here is that she's turning into a monster. Maybe you guys are right.
That's even the character's theory. Ellis thinks she's turning into a monster. Fatima says the thing that you fear might already be happening. She thinks that she's turning into a monster. So they've talked about it in the show. They brought it up where she acknowledges what you fear, perhaps it's already happening. And they're saying she's not going to turn into a creature like that, right? So they did mention that.
And remember, Ellis was always having that dream of his where he kept waking up, seeing the baby being born with fangs and claws, the baby turning into a monster. So this has been a kind of, like you said, a fear of theirs for maybe a little while now. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Fatima is going to turn into a monster. I think it would be interesting, if nothing else. You know, we've all been wondering how these monsters came to be when it, comes to this sacrifice, this deal for immortality, and if it could be replicated, or if the monsters even have the ability to create more monsters. And maybe this is the show's way of finally giving us that answer, that yes, the monsters can create other monsters. And again, I know we talked about this the other night, but could that also explain why we have more monsters than we have parents? You know, I always like the theory that the entire settlement got cursed into these monsters, not just the parents, but the whole settlement that they lived with, the whole village. But if that isn't the case, and only these parents got turned, could this explain all the other monsters we see? That it's possible to turn humans into other monsters. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on the Fatima thing. Is she going to turn into a monster, or is something very different happening here to her?
Well, this is why some of the decision making here, I'm just like, you guys, what happened to all of you? Did all of you get stupid like within the last episode? Because all of you were on the right track, and then all of a sudden everything is messed up. The reasoning behind her drinking this tea that Clara comes and gives her, she's like, sure, it can't hurt, right? And it's like, yes, it can, girl. Yes, it can, girl, and it will.
It totally can.
But Fatima just sitting there doing this little puzzle because Mariel and Christy gave her a puzzle to occupy her. Fatima should know that she's basically dead. Because if you tell her, hey, you're basically dead, she's probably not going to be hanging out with you. She's probably going to be with her husband, spending whatever time she has left with him and her friends, Donna, the people she loves. And when somebody brings her tea, she's probably, if I was her, I would be like, this isn't going to help me, dude. I'm dead. Like, get the hell away with your tea. I probably wouldn't drink it, right? Also, if she had that info, she wouldn't be just, trusting everybody around her. She wouldn't be thinking that the tea could help her. She wouldn't take the tea or drink it because she knows this is not going to help me. I'm already dead. So I don't think that would have happened. But also, when Mariel sees Clara come in to the clinic and she's holding this tea and she's like, I brought this for Fatima. You know there's something weird happening to Fatima. You know that she's basically dead. Why did you let her give that to your patient? Now I understand, Christy. I was mad at Christy for being so mean to Mariel when she's like, she's my patient. But now I understand Christy, like, Mariel, what are you doing? You don't let people just give random things to your patient. You don't know what's in there. That just didn't make sense because she's like, yeah, go ahead. She's right there. Go and give her some herbs that you picked from the forest, the magical twisted forest. That didn't make sense at all. So I think that they should have told her and we wouldn't be in this problem to begin with. But then let's talk about Boyd. Boyd goes over and he asks Victor. He's like, Victor, please, I will not make you do anything that you don't want to do. Great. But since the man in yellow is back, can you tell us whatever you know? So this is him literally in the episode before this. He's working with Victor. Victor is being super brave. And he's saying, sure, I'm going to tell you what I know. Victor then in this episode, the last one, comes over to Boyd, out of all people, and tells him, the boy in white told me that you shouldn't cut this tree, that it's important. And then Boyd arrests them and puts them in the penitentiary. Why? You asked them. You said, Victor, can you please tell me what you know? I'll work with you. And you were in his room looking through his drawings, and he said he would help you. He comes and tells you what he knows, and then you arrest them. That also was like not clicking.
No, that's a very good point. Yeah, very good point. I mean, yeah, they've been after Victor's help for so long. For so long, they want to know, what do you know, Victor? How can you help us? What do you know about this place, these trees, all of it? And the second he comes forward and tells them, hey, no, you cannot cut down that tree. This is the treatment he gets. So no, I think that's a very valid point. You ask for this guy's help, and then when he finally opens up, this is the treatment he gets. No wonder he doesn't want to open up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't want to open up again after this. Yeah, I don't know. But we got a couple super chats here piling up. Let me get through these real quick. Let's see what you guys are saying. I am to fly Cam for $2 says, do we ever see the lighthouse again or the spider webs? I mean, I very much hope we see. I feel like we have to see the lighthouse again, just because there's so much about it we still don't know. If there is, again, we have one final season coming, season 5. So we know we're not going to get all the answers in this season 4 finale, but at some point in season 5, Yes, I am very much hoping that we will return to the lighthouse, find out what it really is, why it's in the middle of a freaking forest and not even near water. There's just so many questions surrounding that structure that I feel they can't just end the show with the story never going back there. So I feel like we'll probably get some kind of answer on the lighthouse. The spider webs, 50-50 again. We kind of saw the spiders pop back up this season in particular. I believe it was episode 5 when Jade is going on his spirit quest there, his mushroom trip. As you know, as he's going along the way, he encounters multiple different spiders. You know, not real spiders, it's kind of all visions, but spiders nonetheless. Whether it's them climbing up the window when he's at the sheriff's station at the beginning of the episode, whether it's him consuming little mini spiders when he drinks the blood from the skull, or the pretty big spider that's in the hallway that they discover in Colony House basement. The spiders were all throughout that episode. And that definitely gave a lot of people a lot of hope that we would get some kind of giant spider on the show at some point. Me, myself, I'm still kind of 50-50. If we got a giant spider, I wouldn't be surprised. But if we don't get it, I won't be disappointed.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe the spiders are good.
Okay.
We have been thinking about the spider as maybe not the most positive of entities, right? Because it has Boyd's wife trapped in this massive spider web. But when she's trapped, she says the truth. Remember, every other time that she shows up, she's trying to convince Boyd to give up. She's like, no, give up. It's not worth it. You're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Then when they see her in that massive spider web, she's like, no, Boyd, I was wrong. She kind of says the truth. When Jade drank the blood, there was tiny spiders in there. And that's how he remembered all of the details that he needed, the info that he needed. So maybe the spiders are good. They're trying to help them, to give them information that they need. The spider is good and the red entity is bad. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, the spiders help Jade, so I'm leaning towards that direction. The lighthouse. I don't think that the way, I mean, I'm almost sure what they're going to try to do with the bones is not going to work. That's just not going to work. We have a whole nother season, so clearly that's evidence that it's not going to work.
No.
But also the boy in white says, go to the lighthouse to save the children. So we're definitely going to see that lighthouse again. And if he's saying go to the lighthouse, he never said go down to the tunnels to save the children. He said go to the lighthouse.
Go to the
So
tower.
I think the children's souls might not even be in the tunnels. They might be up in the lighthouse. He never told them go dig up the tree, go down in the tunnels. This is why bad things are going to happen.
Yeah. As far as we can tell, we haven't. He certainly didn't tell Christopher to go dig up the bones. He told him to go through the tree and go to the tower to save the children. So yeah, I mean, does this ultimately mean that if the bones are the answer, if the bones are the key, what do we have to do with them next? What spell, what ritual, what location do we have to bring them to complete this kind of saving of the children? Because like you said, there's no way it's going to just be as simple as Jade putting these bones to rest and that's it. We all sing Kumbaya and go home. It's just not going to be that simple. Like you said, we still have a whole season to get through. But yeah, I guess we'll see. All right, let's see what we got. And thank you so much. I am Two Fly Cam for the $2. Very much appreciate you, my friend. And I owe you below. Awesome. And we got McLight for $2. Thank you so much, McLight. The writing's isn't great. It's flawed. Well, I'll say this. I think the writing has been flawed at times this season. Definitely. Just for me personally, I know everybody has their own preference and their own, what they like, what they don't like in terms of good writing. But I think From has definitely exhibited some very good writing in its first few seasons up until, and even at times during this season. And when you look at some of the more character-driven writing, some of these more character-driven story arcs, there is definitely some good writing there in terms of seeing some of these journeys that these characters on, how they evolve, how they grow, the lessons they learn along the way, the lessons they can teach us as an audience along the way. And for me, that is definitely a mark of good writing. Has the writing been a little bit flawed in season 4 at times? Yes. But I think when you look at seasons 1, 2, and 3 and some of the character-driven writing, it's hard to argue that there isn't some really good writing there, at least in my opinion. But I know everybody has their own preference in terms of what they think is good writing, which is totally nothing wrong with that. But I think From has definitely exhibited some really good writing at times. But thank you so much, McLight, for the $2. And I owe you whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, I
whoa,
mean,
whoa.
nothing is perfect, you know, like nothing
Nothing will
is
ever be
rare.
perfect.
It's
Yeah.
super rare that you could find something that is perfection, like from start to finish.
Yeah,
There's gonna
unless
be
it's
some,
unless it's Shogun.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, you like Shogun, but yeah,
Or
I
Severance.
like From.
Severance is perfect too. Next to perfect.
Next to perfect, exactly, but nothing is 100% perfect. So are
Yeah.
they gonna make some blunders like the Elgin thing? Yeah,
Of
and we're
course.
gonna call them out, and it's complex. It's complex, but
Yeah.
that's the fun of discussing the show, right? If it was perfect,
Absolutely.
we could just watch individually and turn off our TV and say that was amazing, and then that's it. Sit in silence because they're perfect, and we can discuss. So nothing is perfect, but I do find the recent things that they have done to not make a lot of sense. You know, I'm not gonna lie. For example, Julie. So we talked about Boyd. Boyd goes over to Victor and he's like, Victor, help us. If this man in yellow is out here, we need you to help us and tell us everything you know. And Victor's like, yes, I'll help you. For the first time, my answer is yes. He comes and helps him. Hey, the little boy in white said you probably shouldn't do that because the tree is important. And then he gets dragged to the floor, to the ground, and arrested. Boyd, what are you doing, Boyd? You know this. Boyd has experienced so many supernatural things in here that it's like, Boyd, if he's telling you about this little white boy, you should probably listen, okay? The little boy in white is trying to help you. And Boyd arrests him. It's like, okay, Boyd, that didn't make sense. But also Julie. Julie is like acting, I'm going to blame the weed that she's not making any sense. So we'll blame the weed and not the bad writing. But she says, Mom, I was crazy too. I thought that I was special and that I was traveling through time. I saw the man in yellow eating people. So if you saw the man in yellow eating people, and now it turns out that they're talking about a guy in a yellow suit, that is bad, that's confirmation that you were story walking, that you were traveling through time. Otherwise, how could you have seen that? They're confirming that what you're doing, it's real. Because you didn't know about the man in yellow. She saw him first, and then the town got together and talked about the man in yellow. So how is it that she's not putting those two things together? It's quite obvious. You saw him first, and then they're telling you, hey, this is a real thing. He's been here before. He's super dangerous. But she can't put that together, and I just don't understand.
Yeah. I think Julie is just gotten to the point where she has, is beginning to lose a little bit of hope. She's starting to give up a little bit. She's been very despondent. She's not quite sure what to believe anymore. She doesn't really believe much of anything anymore, it seems. And I think, that's large in part to her trials and failing with the bookmark attempt, her fighting with Randall and her, the death of her father, everything that's really happened to her. The haircut, the wig, the wig is weighing her down as well. It seems like she's just at a point where she is losing hope. She's beginning to give up. But I think she just needs that little bit of motivation, that little bit of something that will give her that spark, that will kind of get her into the game and story walking again, because we know she's going to. We know she's not going to not use it. It's going to be a part of the end game. It's going to be a part of the storyline. The writers wouldn't have given her this ability if it wasn't going to play some kind of major role. And we know that she still has other places to visit, whether it's Jim's death, seeing the man in yellow there, or whether it's her kind of popping up and seeing Sophia in the corner of that picture. We know she still has some more story walking to do. So I do think it'll probably be, we discussed this as well, like, the threat of Ethan being left here alone. Will that maybe kind of give her the motivation she needs to kind of try the story walking thing again? But something's got to give her some kind of motivation that makes her start doing it again, because there's no way she's just going to not use it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, love the show, but introduce her story walking later if she's going to sit on it and not do anything for a while. You introduce it, then you put a pause. You have to find a way to pause that story walking so that you're not advancing the storyline. And her getting high and all of a sudden this being, the reasoning as to her no behavior. I don't know. I just feel like we were doing so good with this character. Because remember, season 1, Julie's character was one of the most controversial ones.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people found her to be whiny and annoying. She kept fighting with her family. She kept not making sense. Just this was her attitude the entire first season of From. And she finally grew up and she grew out of that. And she was story walking and she was taking charge. She was the one that was telling Jem, like, Dad, you can't be going out there in the woods. You're going to leave us orphans. What are you doing? Like, if mom is dead, you need to stay here. So she was making a whole lot of sense and she was stepping up. And then she goes back to what she was in season 1, just whining, fighting with mom, not putting things together. And Tabitha too. If she's telling you, I saw this man and he was eating people, and you know that this man is bad, why didn't you say, hey, can you tell me more about this? Or can you go to Boyd and tell him more about this? She just kind of glosses over that fact and just, it's like as if she didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that was one thing that we noticed that was like super strange. It's like that's kind of that doesn't seem like it's something that you should kind of just gloss right over. What do you mean that you met the man in yellow? Where? How? What exactly? What is this ability that you have? Why didn't you tell me about it sooner? That was very strange how Tabitha kind of just glossed right over that when Julie that's a big revelation that Julie just dropped on Tabitha's lap. Yeah, I think I would have asked a follow-up question or 2 or 3 or 10 even.
So it's understandable when people notice these things and they're like, wait, we have been hanging out with characters that are they don't communicate, okay? They don't. They never have. But they're super bright. They keep track of what's happening, at least minimum. And all of a sudden, they're just not behaving the way that we know them to behave. It's fair. When people are making those assessments, that observation, it's like, you know what? It's fair. What happened to Julie? She was like super on it this season. We were like, oh my God, Julie's super cool. Totally love what she's doing. She was a go-getter. She was hanging out with Randall. We love that dynamic. It really looked like they could accomplish something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I very much have enjoyed Julie's storyline in season 4. It's been pretty good. And even though we're seeing her here at this point where she's starting to have a little bit of a crisis of conscience, starting to kind of doubt herself, doubt the story walking, doubt everything, I think that is not too outside of the realm of normal when you look at some of Julie's storylines. Julie, when you look at all of these characters, a lot of them do kind of follow the quintessential 12-step hero's journey, but I feel like there's not a single character on From, a single storyline that has followed the hero's journey better than Julie's story. Ever since she has been introduced to this story walking, and even from before that, she has exhibited kind of getting through a lot of the quote-unquote 12 steps of the hero's journey. And I think Julie right now is at the part of step 8, which is commonly referred to as the ordeal. It's the part where the hero kind of reaches that rock bottom. They have to confront their greatest fears or their primary objective, whatever's blocking their kind of path. And I think Julie is at that part right now in her hero's journey. She is at her ordeal, because we saw her and Ethan talk a little bit about the thresholds in season 3, when Julie was reaching the part in the hero's journey of the threshold, which was her first time story walking. And usually after that, a step or 2 after that, is when these characters, just based on the kind of story structure of the hero's journey, always kind of get to this point where they hit this rock bottom, where they need to kind of climb themselves out of it and find some new kind of motivation. And I think that's where Julie is right now. And I'm just guessing that's maybe why they started her storyline off so strong in the beginning of the season, where she was getting right into the story walking, experimenting with it, trying new things. and then inevitably gets to the point where she hits a wall. She hits that rock bottom, but she will climb out of it. And I'm hoping that she'll climb out of it in the finale, and we'll see her kind of get back onto that path of experimenting with it more, learning more about it, mastering this ability. But I just get the feeling that's what they were kind of following maybe with her storyline this season. Started off there, get to the point where she has her own quote unquote ordeal, and then have her move past it and kind of learn from it and become stronger because of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and what point or what step of the hero's journey is it when the hero gets high and starts fighting with mom? But every hero comes to that point where you start getting high and you stop being Batman. But I understand the all hope is lost moment, also known the ordeal, also known as the all hope is lost. I expected the all hope is lost moment for Julie to be seeing her father die, because we know she gets there and she screams like this guttural, like right, like, oh my god, this is horrible, and then doing it again and seeing him die again and again and again, to the point where she starts to believe what Ethan said: you can't change anything. All hope is lost. This ability is, you're just coming over and over and messing things more, or getting, she has a huge scratch on her face, putting yourself in danger, and your dad keeps dying every single time. All hope is lost that this is valuable. So that's kind of what I expected her ordeal to be. But getting high works, I guess. If it works for you, it works for you, right? I'm just pointing out, you're looking for the man in yellow and everybody is. She just told you she saw him. I mean, she doesn't believe in it, but you, Tabitha, like, you haven't had that situation happen. So maybe I would be like, hey, go tell Boyd.
Yeah.
And also the cabinets were haunted and there was a spirit, there was a demon in your house that was moving the pantry. You also didn't tell Boyd about the demon in your house that's also haunted. There's just a couple of things that I probably would communicate.
Yeah, just a thing or two, maybe just a thing or two. But we get Dark Lake X for $5. Thank you so much, Dark Lake. Very much appreciate it, my friend. Having Fatima turn into a monster seems like a diss to the writers have for hippies. She was the top hippie, so what are they trying to say? Maybe. Who knows what kind of underlying messages are there? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, when it comes to this whole Fatima thing, Fatima turning into a monster, I wonder if they really are going that route, how it's going to ultimately go. How is this going to look? Are we actually going to have, when we get into season 5, are we just going to have Fatima out there, just a monster kind of coming out at night, smiling, and the rest of the town just have to kind of watch her as a monster every single night? How weird would that be? So I guess I'm just looking forward to seeing what they're doing with this storyline. Is she really turning into a monster, or is something totally different happening here? And again, if she is turning into a monster, what does that mean? Is she's just Team Smiley now from here on out? I mean, I guess it makes sense. Smiley's her kid, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's one thing to theorize that Fatima is going to get turned into a monster. It's another thing to kind of visualize what that's going to look like, I guess, is my point. So if they are going this way, I want to see, what is it actually going to look like? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But what about UPM when it comes to Fatima turning into the monster? Is that something you would like to see happen to her storyline, or no?
No, I don't want her to turn into a monster. I really don't. And I'm thinking, I understand you pointed out that Sophia didn't say that this was an illusion like Henry. She said, I have a couple of games and I need help speeding some up. Kind of like this was always going to happen to Fatima. She's just making it happen now.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me a little sad for her, because she's probably going to turn into a monster. I don't want her to turn into a monster. I feel like it's unfair, because the original monsters made a bargain. So you get eternal life because you did something like sacrifice your child. She hasn't made a bargain.
True.
So giving her this monsterhood that is unearned, even if it's demonic, you haven't earned it, right? You have to earn this eternal life as a monster, and I don't think that she has earned it. So I hope that she doesn't. But Dark Lake, your comment about the hippies and them dissing hippies makes me think of Jim. Do you remember Jim when he was mad at Jade and he was like, "You're just smoking your reefer, your pie, you're just smoking your pot and drinking." Remember, they were trying to
Yeah.
build a tower and Jade gave up. He's like, "This is not gonna work. I give up." And
Mhm.
Jim finished building that tower. He didn't give up.
This is
And he
true.
told him, "You're just smoking your pot," or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they have that Jim attitude towards it.
Well, I mean, and now that I think about it, this actually isn't the first time the writers have thrown a dig towards hippies.
Oh, Christ. Are you people living here now?
Our house collapsed.
Well, at least you had one. It's not my fault you broke it.
Hey, take it
You
easy.
finally get rid of those 3 smelly hippies from Colony House, and now we got you people.
Finally get rid of those 3 smelly hippies from Colony House, and now we got you people. So, Dark Lake, you might be onto something there, my friend. You might actually be onto something there. Awesome stuff. And thank you so much for the 5. I owe you a whoa.
But look at Jade. He's supposed to be the smart one. You know, when we used to ask each other, if you could stay anywhere, where would you stay? Town or
Yep.
Colony House? Jade is
Yep.
supposed to be the smartest character in From. He did not choose Colony House. Does he
Oh.
hang out there and get high there? Yes. Does
Mhm.
he live there?
He ain't
No.
sleeping there. That's for sure.
Exactly, right? So the smart choice is you hang out at Colony House, but you don't live at Colony House. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it.
I 100% agree. I think I 100% agree. All right, let's see what we got here. We got Lily for $5. Thank you so much, Lily. Very much appreciated. One thing that's been nagging me since last episode is, where are the 7 large rocks the children were on? The chamber was empty. Yeah, that was one thing that I noticed as well, and I know a lot of you noticed that as well. When Jade and Tabitha finally get into the main chamber where the stones are supposed to be, we see it's nothing, just flat ground. And we see that they actually have to dig just to get to the tomb where the children are buried, which means there's really kind of only 2 explanations, I would think, that either the stones are also buried too down there, or they were removed. They were removed out of the chamber and placed somewhere else. I can't really think of any other explanation, really, just off the top of my head.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that those things were gone.
Yeah, they weren't in there.
That's
No,
crazy. Who moved them? Did the monsters
exactly.
relocate? We know that they like to move things around,
Exactly.
but why would you remove them? That's strange. And also, Lily, I just have to keep, I keep thinking about this thing. It's not making sense that this is the salvation of the children and how it's supposed to go, because the boy in white, he keeps saying, "Go to the tower, to the lighthouse to save the children. Go to the lighthouse to save the children." It's either one of 2 things. That is where the children's souls are, or you grab these bones, you take them to the lighthouse. You need that tree so you could get to the lighthouse. That's probably why you shouldn't uproot the tree. You're going to need it. The
Mhm.
bones are the
Yep.
first part, but then you need to take them where they want it to be. Maybe the children wanted to go to the lighthouse. So you have to go ahead and make that happen for them, even if it's just the children's bones, right? Um, Boy in white. I was thinking about this. Why does he tell them info, but he's not really helping them, other than, "Hey, it's important. You probably shouldn't do that."
Yeah,
Now
but
that
doesn't tell
Sophia
them why it's important. Yeah.
Mhm. Now that Sophia told us I can turn into people that die here, so if she kills somebody, she could turn into them. Maybe the boy in white is hiding in the bushes because he doesn't trust anybody. He's like, this could be Men in Yellow. This could be him having killed somebody and he's pretending to be them so I could give him info.
Uh-huh.
If they are
And
playing a game, he plays dirty, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I could see that potentially being the case, where maybe the boy in white can't even sense the man in yellow if he's in another kind of shape. Yeah, maybe that's a potential reason why he's been a little cautious. Yeah, I could see it.
He also gives me the sense when you guys chat and Jeremy, when you see the boy in white, do you get the vibe that he's hiding? I don't know if it's
Always,
how they
he's
position
creeping.
him in the
He's
bushes,
always
but
creeping.
I got the vibe like he's a little kid that's kind of hiding from somebody. Like
Yeah.
he's afraid that the man in yellow is gonna get him. So he's also like alone and he's always like in the bushes, hiding or in a place where a lot of people can't see him. So maybe he is also hiding from the man in yellow. So he could give them some info, but not a lot. He's like, I can't deal with that because he'll get me too. He'll get you and he'll get me. He's been trying to get me for a long time and I have been hiding from him. Do you think maybe that could be something?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's certainly. Many people have noticed the creeper status that the boy in white seems to be adopting as the seasons go on. Where yeah, every time he pops up, he's like behind a fucking bush and like creeped out in the woods or something. So a lot of people have noticed that. Is that just the kind of aesthetic, the kind of feel that they want the boy in white to have, this mysterious kind of hidden kind of feeling persona? Or yeah, is it a little more deliberate? Is it a little more the boy in white doesn't want to run into the man in yellow? Because again, if the boy in white is as old as we think he is, which is most likely very, very old, probably as old as the children, the monsters, or everything else in From. At the very least, we know he was here during the 1978 massacre and a little bit before it. So I have to imagine the boy in white knows the man in yellow is in there, knows that the man in yellow does this, know that he kind of infiltrates the town at the end of every cycle. So yeah, maybe this factors into the boy in white kind of moving in the shadows a little bit more, playing it a little bit more cautious because he doesn't want to get caught by the man in yellow. That's a scene that I want to see personally. Like one thing I always wonder are what would a scene look like? It look like if this character met this character. If this character had a one-on-one with this character, what would it look like? Like if Boyd ever met the man in yellow, not Sophia, but if Boyd ever came face to face with the man in yellow version of the character, what would that scene look like? What would Boyd ask him? What would Boyd say to him? What would Boyd do to him? Stuff like that I do always wonder. And another one I always wonder is what would a scene look like between the man in yellow and the boy in white? These two seemingly opposing forces that both seem to be very old and powerful and want different things, but both have their own agendas and are potentially both using the people in Fromville to achieve those agendas. So I always wonder, I always picture what some of these scenes might look like when two characters that have never interacted with each other finally come face to face. And that's the stuff that I kind of want to see. Those are the things that I wanted to see heading into season 4. I wanted to see a scene with Boyd facing down the fucking man in yellow. I wanted to see Boyd in white versus man in yellow. Like I want to see some of these scenes. Maybe they're going to save all that stuff for season 5. But yeah, I was hoping to get a little bit of it in season 4. But that's what I want to see. Like whenever I think of some of these characters that haven't interacted with each other yet.
I mean, yeah, that would be interesting. Maybe before the series is done, we could see something like that. Because Boyd does question, how come Boy in White doesn't come here and tell me? Out of all people, he should probably be telling me.
Right.
Victor does say that is not how it works. So Victor knows how it works, but I mean, if I was Victor, I wouldn't volunteer any more information because I'm getting treated the worst. This is the most information I've ever given you people in my life. And Tabitha is saying I'm a weirdo at what's wrong with me. Boyd is arresting me. This is the worst I've been treated my entire time with you guys. And it is when I've been willing to share information. So I could definitely understand that. But I like what Random Traveler says. Man in white would square up. He's a big dude now. He would probably take him. He's younger, he's bigger. So yeah,
Probably
he
more
probably would
agile.
square up and fight that man in yellow. But you know what else would be like a fun scene? Where you mentioned Boyd and Man in Yellow. Because Man in Yellow, yeah, he's an evil entity, but he has a lot of charisma and he is funny, right? He's a funny guy. And Boyd too. Even when Boyd is like at his worst, at his limit, Boyd is funny. Like he's hilarious. So I think both of them meeting would be a hilarious combination. Because I
Oh my
already know
god.
I could hear Boyd saying,
Oh my
I don't
god. Yeah.
fucking like you.
I
I've
don't
made
fucking
that
like
pretty
you.
clear. I mean, that's the way he
Look,
talks
listen, I
to
don't know who
God.
you are in your creepy ass yellow suit, but this ends right now.
Exactly, right? He called Boy and White the creepy little boy, the
Yeah,
creepy
the
little
creepy
boy.
little kids. I just, yeah, and like you said, that's a really good point when you think of the personalities of Boyd, the personality of the Man in Yellow version of the character. Like, yeah, that's a fucking scene I want to see. These two characters having it out, not a fight scene or anything like that, just a really good dialogue exchange. LO's father went in on him, Tabitha went in on him, and then Boyd put him in jail. Yeah, poor Victor.
And these are
man.
all people that asked him for help.
Having a
Tabitha
bad day.
asked him, the dad was asking him for info. This is the thing. If you were Victor, it's totally understandable that you would never want to help anybody again. He wants to share info with his dad, and he's like, fine, dad. I try to keep this from you, but this man in yellow ate my mom. And his dad freaks out. He just cannot handle the info. He then tells Tabitha, hey, Tabitha, you always come here with a boy and a girl, and everybody dies, and Ethan's probably going to be alone. And she freaks out at him too. Boyd is asking. That's the thing, that he didn't volunteer this info. Boyd went over to his room with all of his little coloring, and he's like, let's look through this. I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. Do you want to help me? And Victor was like, yeah, I actually do. I'm feeling comfortable to share the information that I know. For once, I'm feeling comfortable. And he arrests him. Like he pushes him on the ground, he throws him in there. And in the trailer, you could see he's freaking out. Poor Victor. He's like having the worst time.
Yeah, even Kenny's got him yoked up. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's like, you know, Victor's been so afraid for so long to kind of dig into his past, to try and find these answers, afraid of what they might bring to the surface. And now here he is, he's finally ready to conquer his fear, finally ready to face all of these, you know, scary answers. And this is the response he gets when he tells you a very vital piece of information. No, you cannot pull down that tree. It is important. And especially when he says the boy in white says it's important. And then Tabitha comes around the corner saying, oh, well, we don't really know what the boy in white wants yet. Like, what the, what, Tabitha? Yeah, you might not know what the boy in white wants yet. Or maybe she's just still bitter because he pushed her out of a fucking lighthouse. But yeah, Tabitha, at the very least, knows that this boy in white is this kind of supernatural force within Fromville. At the very least, you'd think that she would consider what Victor is saying here, consider what the boy in white is saying here, and at least have a thought. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe we shouldn't pull this tree out. Maybe this is something we should think about before doing. They don't even stop to think about it. They just arrest his ass. And that's fucked up. Yeah, I felt super bad for Victor in this scene. Poor guy.
Poor Victor. It's a bad idea. When you see the trailer, clearly there's a lot happening. And there's so much happening. You locked them in there. You left them there to be a victim to whatever happens. If there's lightning, if there is thunder, you're leaving him locked up. He can't even run away to where he feels safe, to the peach truck. I mean, horrible. Poor Victor. This is why he wasn't helping anybody. And this, if we see the way that Victor is being treated, maybe this is the same reason that the boy in white doesn't help people as much. Remember,
Exactly.
he said, I tried to help you and it didn't
We
work
think
out.
he's the original Victor, like you were talking about. You know, you think he might be the original son of the original Tabitha, which could, make him the de facto original Victor. So maybe that's why they share this temperament.
Yeah.
Boy in white is making gains. He is. I mean, he's the boy in white no longer. He is the teenager in white, the Benjamin Button in white, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I felt really bad for Victor. I felt really, really bad for Victor in this scene. Poor guy. Poor guy. I just finished Lost in 42 days a couple days ago. Well, that is awesome, Magnum Blood. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved Lost. I know not everybody liked the ending. I liked the ending. I got everything I was looking for out of the show. I think they answered every single mystery and then some, if you really, really, really paid attention. But I know it's a very controversial show, and that's always fun to discuss. Anyone else think Ellis might have the Man in Yellow blood in him from the transfusion? What if the Man in Yellow makes Boyd's son and daughter in law to break? I mean, and this was actually something we discussed, I believe it was on our previous stream, when we were talking a little bit about this exact possibility of, is there other characters that might already have Sophia's blood in their system? Because we're seeing her kind of go around, give her blood to multiple characters, whether it's Fatima, Henry. But yeah, we look back, Boyd gave Ellis that transfusion, and we all assume that the worm blood or whatever was in Boyd's system was completely out of it. And I think it was. I feel like if there was anything there, that storyline probably would have manifested a long time ago. I mean, that was all the way back in season 2. So when that originally happened, I thought for sure something was going to happen from that we're going to see that maybe Ellis has worms now or something crazy along those lines. But now that so many seasons have passed and they haven't really kind of returned to that storyline, I tend to think that it's probably not going to happen. I tend to think Ellis's blood is probably just safe. But I did think that at the beginning, at the very beginning, I thought, okay, there's definitely something's going to happen here. There's going to be some kind of trace in Boyd's system that got into Ellis's blood during that transfusion. But again, I just think too much time has passed with no return to that storyline for them to kind of dredge it up now. But I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Scrolling down. Oh, we got Mick Lightford. We got 2 more. Mick Lightford 2. Julie and Tabitha convo is an example of flawed writing. That I 100% agree with. I mean, when we see that conversation and Julie's kind of sitting down there and she's telling Tabitha, hey, I saw the Man in Yellow once. And we hear Julie talk about this story walking and how she thought she had this ability. She thought she was special, that she could fix things. And Tabitha just completely glosses over all of it. None of it gets discussed. None of it even gets addressed. That was definitely a poorly written scene. I 100% agree with you there, McLeod. Again, sometimes some of the scenes are poorly written. It does happen from time to time. Again, nothing is perfect. But thank you again for the $2. Very much appreciated, my friend. I owe you a whoa. Whoa. And last but not least, let's see what we got. We got Picker Glue for $9.99. Thank you so much. Tabby be digging, Julie be wiggling, Ethan be crying, and Jimmy be dying. The Matthews family. I love, honestly, I feel like that should be the official slogan for the Matthews family right there. Tabby be digging, Julie be wigging, Ethan be crying, Jimmy be dying. I fucking love that. That should be the official slogan of the Matthews family. Mm-hmm. They need a bumper sticker of that shit right there.
Yeah. You know what I've seen like lately with the behavior of the Matthews family, because remember the creator did say everything revolves around the Matthews family. People are like, dude, I'm so tired of this family. Like everybody in this family is just insane. They're like trying to get killed. They're trying to get murdered. This family is just not making sense at times. Ethan stopped running around. He stopped being, behaving in a dangerous manner. But remember, he used to just straight up open doors. They said that he was a little professor, right? Like he's super smart. He's been in a town full of monsters. He knows what monsters do, and he still opened that door for Grandma Monster. Remember? He's like, okay, sure, I'm gonna open the door for Grandma Monster and let her in. Went out. We haven't seen Alma in a while, so also she's missing in action. But the only way that I think that they could make Tabitha's conversation with Julie make sense and her behavior at all makes sense to me is if somehow we find out that the reason why she's not asking questions, the reason why she's not like, wait a minute, Julie, you saw the man in yellow, is because she knows who he is and she's part of the reason why the children were sacrificed, if not the person that made the bargain. I wouldn't be asking questions if, Julie knows or has seen the man in yellow and I already know what I did. I probably wouldn't ask anything. I would pretend that I don't know what she's talking about. And I get the vibe from Tabitha that the reason why she doesn't want to remember is because she's involved, and she's involved in a dark way.
Oh yeah. There's something dark there. There is some kind of dark thing that they are guilty of, that either both of them or maybe even just Tabitha is guilty of, that either they haven't remembered yet, or maybe it's something they can kind of sense deep down inside their subconscious. So maybe that's why Tabitha kind of instinctively doesn't pursue this a little bit more. Maybe she doesn't want Julie story walking and seeing what the original Tabitha did with her own two eyes, maybe. But yeah, I'm with you 100% there. I feel like that there's something that's going to be revealed, that the original Jade and the original Tabitha maybe weren't as innocent as we have been led to believe up until this point. Yes, they might have tried to save the children, but I want to know what happened leading up to them saving the children, because one of their child was one of the 7 that got sacrificed. That does give you, a slight indication that they were maybe at the beginning in on this. Otherwise, why offer up their own child? So again, there's so much there that we don't know. There's so much we still need to uncover there. That's why I really hope we get a flashback to that original timeline. This isn't something that I want to just learn through dialogue, through exposition. I don't want the man in yellow or to tell us the answer. I don't want Tabitha to remember it and tell us the answer. This is something I really hope they actually take some time with and show us what happened. Don't tell us, show us. Actually let the audience go back there to that moment. I feel like that would be the best way to reveal something like that, because there's something there. I'm with you. There is something there that they're guilty of.
Yeah, I keep thinking about Eman. I believe did an interview with the actor Harold Perrineau that plays Boyd, and he said that the man in yellow is something that nobody is going to suspect of, that he is something nasty, that he is something really bad, but nobody's gonna guess, like nobody's gonna have any idea. So I'm thinking they kind of have made it very obvious that he's a witch. If he's saying that, then maybe they are misdirecting us, making us think that he's a witch, when in reality, in the finale, we're going to find out that he's completely something else. That we were thinking he's a witch and he's the big bad, and we find out he's not even the big bad. Maybe he's just a nightmare or something.
He's Tabitha's nightmare is what we're going to find out. And I part of me is wondering that this is starting to become less of a tinfoil theory, and I'm starting to think more and more that it might actually be the case. The man in yellow might be the nightmare of the original Tabitha. No one is ever ready to come face to face with their nightmare. Oof, I don't know. Maybe he is just a nightmare that has been manifested in the forest, and he's not the big bad. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to go on. But when we do finally get that answer, when we do finally learn how the parents took this deal, what brought the parents this deal, when we finally get those answers, please, please, please let it be through some kind of flashback where we can actually see it for ourselves and not just hear about it. That is the one thing that I really want to see. Yeah. But I also want to talk a little bit about the episode 10 trailer that has recently come out, which has been it's a pretty interesting trailer. I mean, they don't show a ton, but they definitely show enough to the point where it looks like episode 10, things are going to start popping off. Some pretty big things are going to start popping off, it looks like. I think there's a lot to unpack there. I just uploaded my episode 10 trailer breakdown up on the channel. So after the stream is over, definitely check that out, guys, if you haven't already. But I'm very much intrigued with this red lightning that seems to be engulfing the town of Fromville. Something seems to have been released, some kind of energy, some kind of force seems to have been released in the town of Fromville. Now, I think there's many possibilities that could have been causing this, whether it's them actually successfully pulling down the faraway tree and it releasing something, or whether or not this is just simply a cost for them meddling where they shouldn't. Because again, even though the children want them to save them, there also seems to be another force in this place that tries to keep people in, that kind of quote unquote pushes back when people try too hard to escape. So I wonder what exactly is going to be happening here. But one thing we did notice yesterday when PM and I were talking, I went back and I was looking through some of Victor's old drawings, and I found this one, which I thought was super interesting. How here we see a pretty kind of almost accurate depiction of what we're seeing in the episode 10 trailer, at least regards to the red lightning that is up in the sky. Here we see this one of Victor's, and it is a drawing of Colony House with that same kind of colored yellowish lightning in the sky, with all of these shadowy figures standing in the front yard of Colony House with a faraway tree on the side. Now, at first glance, we've gone seasons, looking at this exact drawing numerous times, not really thinking much of it. But now when you have the context of the episode 10 trailer and this lightning that seems to be released into Fromville, you start to wonder if this was actually telling us this story the whole time. And PM and I were talking about the shadowy figures in the yard in particular, and the fact that this seems to be a daytime scene, not a nighttime scene. But when we see a lot of Victor's drawings, every time he ever draws a person, I mean, it never does he ever depict humans like this. Every time he depicts a person, a human, it's always very looking human-like with clothes and smiles and all of that. These are the first kind of figures that are just like purely shadowy figures that he seems to have drawn here on the yard of Colony House. Making me wonder, again, more tinfoily, but making me wonder if this lightning, this force of energy that seems to be released in episode 10, is it possibly going to have some kind of side effect, some kind of consequence where the monsters can now come out during the day? And is that what this drawing is potentially indicating to us? That the red lightning in the sky means the monsters can come out during the day? I don't know. I feel like that could be, I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but I feel like that could be a very interesting twist where they're always so sure that they're safe during the day, or at least safe from the monsters, that all of a sudden we see them getting closer to the end. Things are supposed to get more dangerous. We've heard Ethan foreshadow this from the very beginning, and even Sophia kind of echoes the very same sentiment in the episode 10 trailer, how things get messy at the end. So if there was ever a time to raise the stakes, if there ever was a time to make the monsters more dangerous or to make Fromville more dangerous, now would be that time. So I would love to see something like this play out. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that would be a very interesting twist if all of a sudden the monsters could come out during the day while this red lightning was in the sky.
I mean, I think every time we have seen that Victor draws the monsters, entities, he makes them like this. They're wearing a black cloak of sorts. So when you go to the website, right, the Rendezvous website, that's a moving website, they put out a picture there, and it's of the house with two little monsters going up, and they're wearing that black cloak. Now, all of the lightning is going into Colony House. Do you see that? So it's not going out. It's not going out into the woods. It's going all into Colony House. Do you want to get crazy? Do you want to get like tinfoil crazy? Do you want to get crazy right now, Jeremy? Because this is what I'm thinking, okay? That lightning, think about the lightning. It's all going into Colony House and it's red.
Mm-hmm.
They put out the golem, and the golem had like no eyes. And then in this video, they would make its eyes glow. It went from nothing, from being off, turned off, to all of a sudden on with red glowing eyes. What about if all that lightning is going into Colony House because it's going to activate the golem?
Ooh, interesting. I think
because look at its eyes are matching the red crayon.
Yeah. I think that could be very interesting and definitely a possibility. I mean, who knows? I mean, if anything was going to activate this golem, like actually physically activate it, yeah, maybe it would be this mysterious new energy that was just released into Fromville.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
totally Frankenstein because it's a lightning storm that
very
activates this
Frankenstein.
golem.
Very Frankenstein, indeed. It parallels it perfectly. No, I think that's interesting. I think that's very interesting. And if we're on the rabbit hole of this red this red color here, there's also something else that we can look at as well. Let's see. Now I was just scrolling through my pictures when I was doing my trailer breakdown. If you watch my trailer breakdown, you've probably already seen all of this. But we also, when I was going through my old pictures, when I found that Victor drawing of Colony House of the, with the red lightning above it, I started to wonder, is there anything else that could be kind of pointing back to this red lightning thing? And then I remembered the From Season 4 new logo and how the symbol, the very symbol that makes up the roots that make up the faraway tree, is coated in this very same red color here that we are seeing in the trailer. And I mean, when you start to see all of this, it starts to feel a little less like a coincidence, and that this kind of is maybe giving us a potential answer that this energy, this red lightning, might actually have come from the faraway tree. Could this be the consequence? Could this devastation, this storm, be a result of Boyd and Jade pulling out that faraway tree? Part of me wondered that maybe they wouldn't successfully pull out the tree, and I'm still wondering if that might be the case, that they might not successfully get the tree out. But then when I see this, how the symbol itself, the roots itself, is kind of coated in that red kind of energy, it does make me start to wonder if my tinfoil theory of pulling out that faraway tree and it releasing some kind of bigger entity might not be as tinfoily as we originally realized. But who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it is still all tinfoil. But I thought that was a cool little tidbit when we see this red lightning in the sky and we go back and see some of these other little pieces of evidence, I guess you could say. It makes you wonder what exactly is going on. What is this energy? What is this lightning? What has been released into Fromville? And is it a result of the faraway tree being removed? Or is it simply just a result of Fromville pushing back because they're trying to escape, because they're looking for answers? I don't know. I could see it being either or, but I definitely get the feeling it's not going to be good, whatever it is.
I mean, I think it's bad.
Yeah,
Like I said, it doesn't take Einstein. The roots were made by the children that were being sacrificed. It was all of their hope. They made the roots that made the tree. And you're ripping that out. You're like, hey, I'm going to save you, children, and I'm going to rip out the hope tree that you created. Yes, you're getting their bones, but you're removing this thing that they constructed with all their energy. That's why I think the red is all of that energy.
Yeah.
If they did a ritual and it is the children's energy that manifested an actual living object like a tree, an actual thing, and now you're ripping it out, all of that energy has to go somewhere. Remember what Jade said, energy cannot be destroyed, created, it can be transferred. So if you're ripping out that energy of all of the children, maybe it's going to manifest in this lightning. And if it manifests in this lightning and the children are good, which I'm inclined to believe that they are, maybe it's not a bad thing. Perhaps it seems like a bad thing, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Because it seems super scary. But we know that Sophia is out and about. So this could be like the children's energy. Like I said, we're going to get wild here. We're going to get crazy. Going into the golem and helping them out.
Yeah.
If the energy cannot be destroyed, they just have to move it from the tree that you just uprooted. It has to go somewhere. So they have to occupy another object. Maybe the object could be the golem. Would I like that? No, because I don't want the golem to come to life.
Me neither,
but I do think that the energy of the tree, because that was manifested through their energy. Like there's just no other way how.
100%. Yeah.
Where is it going to go? It's going into that storm. That's my personal opinion.
No, and that was my theory too, and that's kind of the gist of my trailer breakdown that I uploaded earlier. And again, when we look at that one shot of the lightning, how it appears to be coming from the ground, heading up into the sky, as opposed to the regular lightning strikes that start from the ground, meet in the middle, and shoot back down. This one looks a little bit different, how it's only coming from the ground up, and it's not meeting the downward charge and turning into a lightning bolt. So it's very different, and it makes me wonder if it is the result of the trees being removed. And then when we also see in the episode 10 trailer, there's that one shot of what appears to be some kind of earthquake. And we can pull up the trailer and take a quick look. We see a legit full-on earthquake happening in episode 10 trailer when Victor is still locked up in the sheriff station. So again, it just, ground shaking, weird, mysterious light potentially coming from the ground, heading up into the sky, this storm, this red lightning storm. It does start to look a little bit, anyway, like this might be a result of the faraway tree being removed. But who knows? Here we go. We got the again, it starts with the weird Sophia movement, but then goes into Victor kind of experiencing this earthquake.
Now I light the match and I watch it burn.
There we go. Victor is going through it. The whole sheriff station is shaking. So yeah, I'm wondering if they successfully pull that tree out of the ground, it's going to release a massive amount of energy, the children's energy that they poured into these roots. That might even potentially be the key to keeping something even worse than the Man in Yellow locked away, for all we know. I think it's going to wreak havoc. Whatever the case is going to be, removing this tree is going to be very, very bad for all of them. And I can't wait. I'm very much looking. The finale does look very intriguing. Just looking at the trailer, looking at the synopsis, the title to the episode in and of itself, If a Tree Falls in the Forest, which kind of makes you think even more that they're going to pull it down. It definitely seems like the finale is going to be pretty wild. And I hope it's going to be. I do. I feel like the season has been up and down. It's had its highs, it's had its lows, but I still really want them to finish on a high note.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking at this screenshot that you have here, and I think it just adds to this energy theory that I have.
Mhm.
Look at the light. So he's freaked out, yes, because there's movement, but he's freaked out because of the light. Because when you play the trailer, the light turns on and it turns on red, and then he starts screaming because the light is turning on. He was probably laying down there and the light started going like on and off. So that's going to scare him, and that would equal the energy. They have made a big deal as to tell us that everything here works. Electronics work, but nobody knows what's powering them. And it potentially could have been that the tree and everything that they're doing, all of that energy that powers the town is the children trying to provide something for them. So now that you remove the tree, you might unleash the entire energy of the town, not just
Exactly.
the faraway tree, but what was making it work. The reason why your lamps were on, the reason why things worked in there, you just release that energy and it's going everywhere. But I
Mhm.
think there's still the possibility that it's not a bad thing. There's still the possibility that it's a good thing, because sometimes that's how
Mhm.
they cut the trailer. You think it's a negative thing and it's maybe a helping force. If
And
it's
if
the
it is
children,
coming from the children too,
mhm,
like if it's the children's actual energy and hope that they poured into the roots, then yeah, it could be a force for good, however destructive it looks.
yeah, it looks destructive. But if it's the children, they're gonna try to help, right? They used to
Mhm.
be a tree that was literally made out of hope. So it looks scary, but it is hope energy because you're removing the tree. The tree was not a bad thing. It was hope energy that you're releasing. So it might look terrifying, but it might not be, because Victor
Mhm.
doesn't really mention this sort of thing happening. Remember, he was in the basement with his sister, and his mom was like, I'll be right back. We saw that there was no lightning. It was just a regular night when Miranda gets killed by Smiley. So we're
Mhm.
not seeing all of this like energy storm. This is not how cycles close. This is different.
As far as we can tell, yeah, we haven't really seen or at least we haven't seen any evidence up until this point of something like this happening in previous cycles. Yeah, which again, it leads me to believe that it has to be either tied to them pulling out the faraway tree or them removing the bones. It has to be tied to one of those two things. And Sophia kind of even alludes to that in episode 9 as well, when she's talking about how this place is built on ritual. You know, they have the right idea when she's referring to them going to grab the bones. They have the right idea, but how you do something is just as important as what you do. And I think that was a very telling line, that how they're going to acquire these bones is very much going to be a dangerous undertaking. And I think that is most likely referring to them pulling out the tree. Because it's not just, again, she's right, it's not just the end game that matters. How you do this matters as well. Yes, you want to get these bones, but if you have to pull out the tree in order to do so, the magical faraway tree that was, like you said, the living embodiment of the hope and prayers of the children, that's going to have some kind of devastating effect, at least immediately. Now, could this energy be used in some positive way if it has come from the children? I think that's definitely possible as well, like you brought up. But I think they're going to have to pay a pretty heavy price first for pulling that tree out, if they do pull the tree out. If not, then again, this lightning could be tied to them removing the bones themselves. But I like this as well. Earthquake making the talismans fall. I think that's possible. Very, very, very possible.
But also, it's during the day. Remember that the plan that they made to go out there was during the day and be back home by nighttime. So the talismans could fall. If it gets dark enough, that would be a problem. Something tells me that they're just not going to play by the rules anymore, because we see Smiley just going in and the door is open. So I'm wondering, did Sophia open all of the doors? Because the door's already open. He's not opening the door. The door is open for him. That's also different. When it comes to the way that they're doing things, I'm looking at that screenshot of Jade, and he looks like he's smiling. Tabitha does look like she's scared, but if you look at Jade, he looks like he's looking at them and he's smiling. Why?
I don't know. It was very tinfoily, but when you see when you listen to the dialogue that Jade is saying to Tabitha in that scene, about it was very interesting how he's saying, you need to get your you need to finish this. You need to break the cycle. Your children deserve to get out of here. Not we need to finish this. Not we need to break. You do. And again, I feel like it's way too early to kill Jade off. Like, they can't kill Jade off in the season 4 finale. The monsters get in and all of that. Part of me, again, the tinfoily, more of a tinfoily theory. What if Jade sacrifices himself in some way so Tabitha can get out, holds the monsters back in some manner? Is this Jade saying a farewell to Tabitha? Because the way this kind of dialogue reads, it does almost read like he's saying goodbye to her, like he's telling her, you need to go on because I can't. I'm going to make sure you can go on. But this is where it ends for me. I really hope that's not the case. I don't think that's the case. I think if Jade's going to die, it probably won't be till season 5. But I don't know, something about that dialogue, something about the way he delivers the dialogue just kind of rung a bell for me. But I do think he's going to survive ultimately.
I hope that he does. However, this would make total sense, because the way that he's smiling and kind of protecting her, because she's in back of him,
right?
And he's almost kind of protecting her and smiling.
Exactly.
When you're seeing your destruction, your doom, you're gonna die.
Like
you
his back is to the
yourself.
monsters right
This
now,
is how
right?
heroes smile right before they throw themselves to the abyss, so that you get a little bit more time to escape. He has this smile as he's looking at the monsters come in. So maybe he had this conversation with her and he's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. And what Xavier is saying here, I really like it, because what Xavier is saying is he already knows, if I don't complete this mission either way, the townspeople will kill me. So it is better for me to sacrifice my life so that she could get her children out of here, because I'm dead either way. I might as well die here. And maybe that, just like Sophia said, Sophia mentions this, you guys. She says in that Bible story, it wasn't asking the character to sacrifice his son because he genuinely wanted him to go through with it. It was the act of showing that he was willing
Yeah.
to sacrifice his son that counted, and it was enough. He
It's
didn't
enough.
actually have to go through with it. So maybe Jade's act of saying, I will sacrifice myself so that you could
Like,
save your children could
yep.
help him make that lightning. If the children want to help and the children are energy, and you're seeing that both of them are in trouble and Jade is about to sacrifice himself, this is your time to act, to come out of the ground as energy and help in one way
Yep.
or another, right?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always thought that was an interesting kind of concept, where if this whole thing started on sacrifice and it's going to need a sacrifice to end it of some sort, maybe just the idea of being willing to sacrifice yourself is enough in and of itself, where you don't have to actually go through with the sacrifice. And I'd love to see something similar here with Jade, where he even, he passes test, I guess, in a sense, where he's willing to sacrifice himself here for Tabitha, but ultimately ends up making it out. I could see it playing out that way. But yeah, it does almost look like he's kind of turning to her, telling her, you need to get out. You need to finish this. You need to break
And
the
she has the
cycle. Your
backpack on where
children.
the bones are. Look at
Exactly.
this. She
Yeah.
has, so this is where they put the bones. He doesn't have it on. She has it on.
Well, I think he's got one on
Almost,
too.
yeah, but they put the bones in this blue one. So almost like you could leave with the bones. And if I have to sacrifice myself, I will. You need to get out of here with these bones, sort
Yeah.
of thing. And like you said, I don't think that they would kill him, but I think that they could definitely make it interesting by putting him in that position of saying, I'm
Yeah.
willing to die for you to be
Yeah.
able to save the children.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
could be enough to, somehow, some way, he's going to get out of this. But I do think he's going to make that gesture of sacrifice. And hopefully, with that gesture of sacrifice, because remember, the actors said they love each other and the feelings are also there. It's not just memories. That's what he said. So if he's saying that, it's because somewhere in the script and somewhere in his scenes that takes place. So I'm wondering if Tabitha, seeing his action of being willing to sacrifice himself for the children, will make her be less, I don't know, hostile towards him.
Oh,
Because she's
yeah.
being a little
Absolutely.
hostile. So maybe
Absolutely.
a little nicer on, the next season.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Tabitha's been kind of even blaming Jade at times for some of this. Yeah, no, I could totally see that. But yeah, I don't know. Something about the dialogue, the look on his face, the somber mood of the scene. It gives me that feeling of, this is him telling Tabby, you need to go on. You need to continue, and I'm going to make sure you're going to be able to continue, because I'm going to stay behind. And yeah, maybe just the idea of being willing to sacrifice himself will be enough, and he will actually get out. Because you can't kill Jade this early. Like, come on, you cannot fucking kill Jade this early. But if he does die in this scene, that would be I imagine they could make it a very, very meaningful, heartfelt death. But I think he's going to survive. I think ultimately they'll both survive. But who
Do you want to get tinfoil, Jeremy? So I have to talk to you about this theory. It's 100% tinfoil. Makes no sense, but it makes a little bit of sense to me. Do you remember? Because I'm thinking about the interview. In the interview, the actor that plays Boyd, who is basically our main character, one of our main characters with Tabitha and Jade, says, you're not going to see this coming. You're going to be completely misdirected, basically. And so I'm thinking, we are kind of putting a lot of weight on what we have come to believe that From is. What about if they do pull this off and they do a little switcheroo and it's completely different? The creatures, the monsters, we're told that those are the parents, and we just believe it, right? We're like, fine,
What if the
they're the
children are the
parents.
bad guys and the monsters are the good guys, the victims?
No, I still think that the children are
No, I do
victims.
too. That's just my tinfoil thing. Imagine if the whole thing just got twisted on us right at the very end, and we got this crazy reveal that the children were
Mhm.
really the evil ones and the parents were the victims. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
a crazy
It's
one.
predictable though, making the ghost
Yeah,
children the bad
the
guys.
children
It's
of the
predictable.
corn children, it's yeah.
Spooky kids. Um,
Mhm.
I don't think they would go that way,
No,
but
me neither.
tinfoil, I like it. This is my tinfoil theory. We're putting way too much weight on what they have told us, and this place lies. Elgin is telling us it lies. People are telling us it's gonna be
Christopher
unexpected. What
Christopher thinks
about?
everything lies here, even the boy in white.
Mhm. So what about if these are not even the parents? They are not the parents of anybody. That's why
Uh-huh.
there's a lot more of them, and there's not so many of the children. Yes, those children were sacrificed, but these are not their parents.
Okay.
There was no bargain for the specific thing. They're just a nightmare creature. They're literally just like the nightmare stuff. The
Nightmares that
what do
were
you call those
manifested from the
things?
forest. I mean, when the monsters were when the show
What
first
were
got
those
created,
things called? Scarecrows. They're
the
just like
scare.
the dolly scarecrows.
Yeah.
This could be somebody's nightmare. Like they do look like the scary people next door, right? A lot of people have nightmares of their whole town being demonic, or the
The milkman,
spooky
the bus
milkman.
driver, the diner.
Exactly. What about if this is somebody's nightmare
I
and
think
they died and now, they're manifested?
Mhm. I've always, again, when we look at the very beginning of the series, when the show first started, the monsters that we know and love, their official designation on the show was nightmare creatures. That is what their real name was. That was
Mhm.
what the writers referred to them as, nightmare creatures. And I always did wonder if that was a hint to them actually coming from someone's nightmare. But I like the idea of the entire place coming from someone's nightmare, like Fromville, everything that's happening here, all the evil that's inside of it. Maybe this whole thing was manifested from one person's very vivid and powerful nightmare that they had when they died. I think that's very much a possibility. Again, when they introduced and confirmed the whole concept of nightmares can get manifested in this place, you don't introduce a concept like that if you're not going to use it again in the future. You certainly don't introduce a concept like that just to fucking have some dolls. Like there's going to be something else that's going to come from that or revealed to be coming from that. I think, again, part of me still wouldn't be surprised if it's the man in yellow. If we find out the man in yellow is
Wait,
actually a nightmare that was manifested in this place. But no, I like the idea that the monsters were as well, potentially.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We
It
need to
doesn't work.
remove that tinfoil theory, and it doesn't work, and I'll
That's
tell
why
you
it's
why.
tinfoil. Yeah.
Well, let me tell. I have proof. I have proof that it doesn't work. This is how it is. Sometimes you come up with theories based on the information, like nightmare creatures, but then you have to really look at the evidence, and it doesn't hold up.
Well,
Put
that's the
it through
thing.
the
This was
system.
early on during season 1 and 2.
Well, let me tell you why
Now
it
that we're
doesn't
into
work.
season 4, there's a lot more evidence for that not being the case now.
Well, let me tell you why my theory doesn't work.
Okay.
Um, they literally grabbed the same totems that killed the dollies that are nightmares
And
and
yeah, it
stabbed
makes
the
more.
milkman, and the milkman was fine because
No.
he's not a nightmare, he's an actual thing. You
Mhm.
can kill them.
But
We
they had
saw
to try him on
Smiley
the man
be
in yellow. Yeah.
reborn. We saw Smiley be reborn to Fatima, so clearly you cannot kill them. So that part of the story is true. So they're not nightmare creatures. They're actually what they're telling us.
Mhm.
Because otherwise the totems would have worked
Would have
against the
killed
milkman
the milkman,
and
yeah.
Smiley wouldn't have come back. So I think we could count on that being solid, that they are not nightmares. Now, as
I
far
think they're
as
the
Men in
parent.
Yellow,
I mean, with that revelation, that big exposition we got from Fatima, and how the story seems to kind of be supporting it from them, it seems like the monsters are what we've been told. They're the parents of the children. But the man in yellow, I could see him being a nightmare.
mhm. Yeah, it is possible, right? Because he was afraid, but they also kind of made that obvious. They made it so obvious that he was afraid of these totems. So, are they going to, the show usually is not predictable in this manner.
Mhm.
And the fact that they
Well, it's
added,
and mm.
hmm?
Sorry, go ahead. They added what?
Oh, the fact that they've made changes that
Uh-huh.
kind of have seemed predictable, but they were not originally in the writing, make me think that that's really not at the core of the story. They're not predictable with their main people. Yeah, they'll change a Clara here and there. They'll change little things, maybe Smiley, but their main characters, like the man in yellow, they're not gonna make him as predictable. And he was showing us that he was terrified of it. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could be. Could be. Could be. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like I would love to see some kind of twist like that. And if that were the case, I think that would open up another interesting possibility that something else brought this deal to the parents. And then that would also make Fatima's storyline make a little bit more sense as to why she's had so much trouble remembering who brought the parents this deal. If it was the man in yellow the whole time, then why hold that back? Why give her that storyline unless there is another reveal that's getting ready to happen there, maybe? But again, that's more on the tinfoil side. I think
No, I
most
like your
likely
theory.
it's a fun one. I mean,
I'll
I
tell
do
you
think
why. Listen, MGM has been doing something very different this season, Jeremy. And I think you're onto something. I know that it sounds tinfoil. What has MGM been doing, guys? Before we see the episode, they spoil something big for us. MGM put out in that same sort of post the teeth, what was inside the little pouch. They
yeah,
showed us it was teeth, and it did turn out to be teeth.
well,
They've
yeah,
been showing the dollies, so they have been spoiling the season for us. So
yeah.
if they put out that same post that says, nobody's ready to meet their nightmare, they might spoil the men in yellow too. I mean, they did it with the teeth. Why not the men in yellow?
It's hard to know. Again, the marketing for season 4 has been very interesting to say the least in terms of all the things that they've shown. Even the trailer. This is the first time that they've ever cut together a trailer from the first 8-9 episodes. Usually, every single trailer from seasons 1, 2, and 3 are only ever cut from like the first 5 or 6 episodes. Usually, you never get any scenes from the second half of the season in the main trailers. But this season, I mean, we got into episode 8 and we're still seeing scenes from the trailer. That's never happened before on From. So the entire marketing for this 4th season has been just so much different than the first 3. To the point where I wonder if it is a totally different marketing team that MGM is using for season 4 compared to the other seasons. That's how different it feels. But I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell what is a spoiler or what is them just kind of leaning into something that turns out to be nothing, like they always do, like they tend to do sometimes as well. But no, you're right. I mean, they did spoil quite a lot. Every Saturday when the episode comes out, like 6 or 12 hours before that, they always post something either on their Instagram, their Twitter, or their Facebook, or usually on all 3. And that always is usually something that has to do with the newest episode that's about to come out. And for most of those pictures, they were spoilery. They were pretty spoilery for things that we had no idea were coming. So yeah, I think, and that's one kind of comment that we've been seeing quite a lot from a lot of the fans throughout season 4, that many of them felt that the trailers just showed way too much. And I do agree to a certain extent. They showed a little too much. Let's see what we got. MJM says, I just had a tinfoil theory. In order to free the kids, they have to use the bones and drop them inside the bottle tree with every talisman to release the kids and break the curse. Just a thought. Interesting. I mean, that's a new theory that I have not heard before, and I always love hearing something new. Again, I feel like these faraway trees are going to be very important in one manner or another. But no, I think that's interesting. To have to maybe take the bones into the faraway tree as part of the ritual, as part of the process that they need to kind of save these children. That's an interesting idea. Putting the bones in the faraway tree along with the talismans. Could that potentially be the final step or one of the steps? Hey, I like it. I love me some tinfoil.
Mhm. I like it. This is different. It does remind me, Jeremy, of something that you had said. So you had mentioned a theory about, I keep thinking the boy in white wouldn't say, go to the tower to save the children if the children were not there or if the children didn't need to get there, right? And you had previously said you thought that the children weren't even there. You thought that the children escaped, that they found a way to escape. That's why they made the tree. The tree is a way to escape and go into another place.
I think
so
that's
they
why,
made the tree. Maybe they were trying to get away.
I think that's
right?
why their hope manifested in that form, because they were trying to escape. Yeah. They
So
wanted
then
to
you
be
have to
somewhere else.
complete that story for them. They clearly didn't escape. They were sacrificed. So maybe you do. I think that you have to take the bones to the tower. Now,
And go
I
through the
like
tree
the
to do it.
idea. I like the idea that the kids kind of made it easy and they're like, dude, there's a tree right above here. Take our bones, go through or throw them in there, and we'll get to the tower where we wanted to go. This is we wanted salvation. This is where we belong, right? Go to the tower to save the kids. The talismans, maybe, but
Could we
I
even
like
come to
the
find out
idea
that
that you
there's
need
7
to
trees?
complete their mission to escape. You need to
Mhm.
complete that for them. But
Well,
now that
and
they are removing the tree, that's why the boy in white is saying it's important. And if he's saying it's important, it's because it's important and it's part of the ritual. A ritual has a couple of steps. I think he's saying it's important because it's part of the ritual. You probably had to go through the tree to get to the lighthouse. Now, if they're going to remove the tree, which they are, at this point, all of season 5 is going to be trying to get those bones to the lighthouse in a way where they are going or moving about the forest without having access to that tree that could take them quickly to the lighthouse.
Yeah, and one thing that we have noticed is that there's more than one faraway tree. There isn't just one. We've seen, I believe, 3 or 4 different ones so far on the show up until this point. And as Admiral brings up here, each kid in the tree that corresponds to their hope. Could we come to find out that there are 7 faraway trees, one representing every single child? I mean, if they all poured their hope into the roots above them, then could that stand to reason that each one of their hope manifested in the form of a tree? Because we know we have more than one faraway tree. There isn't just one out there. There's multiple. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are exactly 7 faraway trees, and you need all 7 in order to complete whatever ritual they need. And they're about to yank the fucking main one up, which is going to be very bad news. So no, I like that, Admiral. I like the idea of maybe there being 7 trees, with each tree corresponding to one of the Onkui children's hope. Each tree was manifested through one of the children's hope. I think that would fit very well with the 4s and 7s and everything that we're seeing on the show, and every child having one of their own trees. And it would explain why there are more than one faraway tree.
I like it. I like it, Admiral Wackass, Mister. Because remember when the children first show themselves after the music is played perfectly right? It is in the middle of a bottle tree. So the bottle tree is in the middle. They are playing the music and they surround them and they come from the trees. So maybe even that formation is showing them, each one of them, they were not together or gathered together. They were around. They were coming in a circle from the trees.
Yeah.
So maybe they were trying to show them each one of these trees corresponds to one of us.
One of us.
Put us in the tree that our hope created, so we could go home. Home being salvation, not here. So we could escape. So it makes sense. They created the tree in order to escape. They never got there. So you just have to complete that for them and put them in their specific tree. I like it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's I think it could be fitting in terms of each one of the children kind of manifesting their own tree. Because again, we know there's more than one faraway tree. So I guess it wouldn't make too much sense that they pour all their hope into just one set of roots and only one tree grew. If there was only one tree on the show, then yeah, that would maybe make sense. But we know there's multiple trees. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are 7 trees, one for each child, and each one of them is going to be just as important. And we might be seeing Jade getting ready to yank one of them out. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. And I've seen this a lot as well. A lot of people have been talking about the size of the bones. I think the bones are too big to be children's bones. Could they be the monster's bones? And the mushroom trip Maid had was due to the town or Sophia just playing games with his head to unleash Shell. I at this point, I wouldn't be surprised of anything. Again, Sophia seems to have been laying a lot of these manipulation games, but she hasn't really done a whole lot of damage. And that was one thing I wasn't really expecting. When they started this whole undercover Sophia storyline, I was definitely expecting her kind of manipulation tactics to amount to much more damage than we've gotten up until this point. But maybe this is why. Maybe it's because she's building up towards one giant master move. I think that could be a very interesting twist that a lot of us probably wouldn't have seen coming. That if we come to find out that these aren't the children's bones, that they're the monster's bones, and Jade and Tabitha are falling right into the Man in Yellow's plan. Definitely an interesting twist, if nothing else.
I like it. I have seen a lot of people talk about the size of the bones, and
yeah,
I mean, to me, they look about right. But what do I know? I've never seen the children's bones. And it's hard to tell because of the perspective, right? So if we had like a size that we could compare them to, then we could see, well, that head does look big or that arm does look big, but perspective is off. I like it though. The reason why I like it is because I think you have evidence to support your theory. Sophia has shown us that what she does is that she makes people consume something. So you'll end up eating something, consuming something. She doesn't need to be around you. Once you consume that, you're going to start seeing hallucinations, just like Henry. Henry consumed her blood. So is it possible that Sophia did an incantation on the mushrooms that just happened to be there? And where were the mushrooms, guys? Where were they located? By the man in yellow suit. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking for mushrooms and they just happen to show up right by his suit. Why are they so close to that negative omen of his suit? I probably wouldn't take them. I would think that they're contaminated. But they are right there, right by the suit. So that means that Sophia could potentially have sprouted those mushrooms and put an incantation on them. When he drinks them, then he's hallucinating all of these things, showing him what he wants to see, that he is a hero, that he is a savior, and that he has to do this dangerous thing. So it is possible. I think you have some evidence as to that theory, because the only people that we have seen create hallucinations in that manner is Sophia.
Yeah, up until this point, yeah, it's really all we've seen, a kind of full-on hallucination vision, the way that she's given to some of these characters like Marielle and now Henry. Yeah, I like it. I think I think it would be a very interesting twist, if nothing else. And even Dieter says, or the bones are the previous versions of Jade. I think that could also be a possibility as well, where every cycle the monsters bury the Jades and Tabithas in this tomb every single cycle, and that's maybe could explain why the bones might look a little bit bigger. Who knows? Who knows? But all I know is that we have one episode left, ladies and gentlemen. We are approaching the season 4 finale of From. And since this is the last week of Fromville, or at least the last week of getting new episodes, we're going to continue to talk From well into the off season while we wait for season 5, of course. Seeing as this is the last new episode we're going to get for a little while, we are going to be doing From streams probably every single day for the rest of the week, leading right into Saturday and afterwards and going forward. So this is going to be an awesome From week. We're going to continue to dive into all of the craziness. We're going to continue to dissect everything in the episode 10 trailer, even more than we did tonight. And we cannot wait to see what you guys come up with and some of your other thoughts and your theories and your predictions heading into this final episode. And hopefully this finale is going to leave season off on a pretty high note. I am very hopeful that it'll end with a pretty big bang and give us something very nice and juicy to chew on while we wait for season 5. But man, here we go. One episode left. ladies and gents. One episode
Mhm.
left.
Something juicy like a juicy burger with
I get juicy
provolone,
burger.
just like provolone from home, just like Henry likes it. But I like Isaiah here has counted the hours. I don't know if this is accurate, but he says
88 hours.
8 hours
Wow.
left. We should do a countdown, Jeremy. You
Mm.
should post a countdown on your Discord. I want to see the exact amount of hours that I have to wait to see this finale because the
Okay.
actors are selling it like it's gonna be the best thing ever.
They
And
are.
they don't make claims like this. They usually do not make claims of this grandeur. So if they're saying that, I don't know. I lean towards believing them that it's gonna be crazy.
Hmm. I do too. I do too. I again, we're seeing everybody hype up this episode, from the cast, the crew, even that Matt Likely interview that we took a look at the other day. Even he said the audience is going to be very shocked with what the characters have to do in the finale. That leads me to believe that there's going to be a very tough choice that needs to be made. Not something that's necessarily going to happen to them, but a choice that they are going to have to make. A difficult one is what that sounds like. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this finale. I really hope the season ends on a really high note, and I do have hope that it will. Looking at the trailer and the synopsis and just seeing where our storylines ended up at the end of episode 9, it does look like things are finally coming to that massive head, that climactic moment of what's going on with these bones, around these bones, and hopefully Sophia eventually getting discovered as the Man in Yellow. But yeah, absolutely, Random Traveler, bring a provolone burger to the watch party. That is the way. That is the way. If you want to truly enjoy if you want to really get the finale experience like our pal Henry did, then yeah, you need to bring a burger with provolone cheese to the finale. Otherwise, it's
Provolone.
not going to taste as good.
Listen, he made his this is the other thing about Henry, Jeremy. I'm so disappointed in him because I do feel like it was the provolone that pushed him over the edge. He was like, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, maybe this is my son, maybe the
The
other
provolone
one is.
convinced him.
The
Yeah.
provolone, he can be bought.
Yeah.
He can be bought, and I
Can
don't
be
like that
bought with
about
a
a
piece of
person.
cheese.
He can be bought with a piece of provolone and a burger, okay? Because it was after that he was like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna kill Victor. Oh yeah, I'm gonna kill my anchor. I'm gonna kill him because I want to stay in this other world, this
Mhm.
realm of the provolone and the fries, and I have all the stuff. So I just don't trust him. And I think that he is going to do, I don't want him to hurt Victor because I think Victor
No.
has suffered so much
Yeah.
dying at the hands of his father. I mean, come on. That's just, you're adding way too much trauma, even though it kind of would go full circle with what happened to the children.
A
The
little bit.
children
Have some
died at the
symmetry
hands
there.
of their parents.
Yeah, there'd be some symmetry there for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Although,
don't
I
think
mean,
I cannot stomach a scene with Victor. He's an amazing actor.
I
Being
know.
killed by Henry. Oh no, it's gonna kill me. It's
No,
gonna
that's gonna
kill me.
kill me. Oh my god, that'll break the fandom, especially us, really big Victor fans. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch Henry kill Victor. No, no, no. Although we might not need to watch the finale at all because it looks like Jeannie Tucker has us completely covered. I got it. They pull the tree. Red stuff happens. They put the tree back with Tabby and Jade trapped. End of season. Boom. Clean, concise. I like it. I like it. And that's probably how it's going to go. I like it. Good stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting finale. I know there's been a lot of conflicting reports out there in terms of how long the finale is going to be. I know there are some publications reporting that's going to be 90 minutes. I have not heard that. From what I'm hearing, it's going to be closer to around 74 minutes, which is still a pretty long finale. But I would not expect an hour and a half if you've been reading that out there on the internet. It seems like that's not very accurate runtime from what I'm gathering. But I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how this season is going to end. What are they going to give us? How much are they going to leave for season 5? And which one of our characters are ultimately going to be on the chopping block this season? But I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how this season is going to end, and we shall see.
Yeah, let's start that timer. 88 hours. So what? 87 hours now until we see the
87 and
finale of From.
change. Yeah.
Yay!
I definitely put provolone cheese on my mushrooms and jalapenos double cheeseburgers. Hey, it's the way to go. You got to put some provolone.
That sounds so good. You know, I live in California, so I have access to In-N-Out Burger. I know that a lot of people like that. You know, the In-N-Out burgers are like famous for being amazing. And I gotta say, I don't know if it's having access to something that makes it not as good, but I don't like them that much. I don't like them that much. I don't think that they're as amazing. I like Jack in the Box. And I think they use provolone actually.
Probably not. Probably not. Too expensive for that kind of place, I would imagine.
Damn, Jeremy.
But yeah, provolone is the way to go. And thank you so much, Isaiah. Very much appreciate that, my friend. And I'm sorry to hear that, but you know, if this stream provides anybody, you know, some, you know, a place to come and hang out for a little bit, then I'm super grateful for that, and that is more than enough, and means more than any monetary value ever could. So we just love providing a place for people to come and hang out for a little bit. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate that. Very, very much appreciate it. But yeah, there we go, folks. Episode 10, excuse me, is coming. It is coming around the corner, and I am very much looking forward to it. Look, it's going to be interesting to see, again, what are they going to give us? What are they going to say for season 5? And what big twists and turns are around the corner? Did you say Jack in the Box? This one cannot be trusted.
It has removed all of my credibility because I like Jack in the Box. It's nostalgic, okay? I know it's not good. It's not like the best of
I don't have
burgers.
any.
Okay, fine.
I
Okay,
don't have any
fine.
in
It's
my area.
not. But it's nostalgic. Sometimes you like the trashy, you know, food. I've had
Sometimes,
burgers
yeah.
in Paris, and listen, I would take Jack in the Box over them. Sometimes you
Jack
just
in the
like the
Box.
trash, okay? Sometimes you
One-
just do.
One burger I can't eat is White Castle. I cannot. I can't choke down a White Castle burger. I just can't do it.
Why?
I just don't
Did
like
you
it.
have a bad experience?
No, I just don't like how they taste. They just don't taste good. I'm just not a fan of White Castle. That's it. That's it. Yeah, Comic-Con
I think there's a
2026
story there.
begging for the wig. I mean, if there's any character on From that deserves an appearance at Comic-Con, it's the wig. It is definitely the wig.
Oh my God, I want them to really go out and do these events. And I think that they will. Because if Netflix is going to be picking up even the first seasons, I think that there is a potential, you know, that it's going to blow up and we're going to see a lot more Men in Yellow around October, a lot of Julie wigs, you know. And I hope that they don't change it for season 5. I'm actually preparing to send out a letter letting them know. I know that season 5, maybe they hear the backlash and they're like, oh, people didn't like the wig. But I want them to know we don't make fun of the wig because we
It's
don't like it.
too-
We
it's
make fun of the
too-
wig because we love it.
Love the
Okay.
wig.
That's how
Love
you
the
treat something when you love it. If we make fun of you, is because you are in, like you're in the
Yeah.
inner circle. We love you. Don't change it.
No, I'm not going to go out of my way and make something like this unless I absolutely loved it. Oh, the wig.
I
And
love
gotta
it.
say,
But this is my favorite.
I love that one too. That one's fucking great.
I like how Boyd actually, when
no,
he
it's
sees
not.
you edit it so that when he sees Julie, he stands up. He's like, wait a minute, what?
Wait a minute. What? It's not the boy in white anymore. It's the boy in wig.
The boy in wig. The boy in
The boy
wig.
in wig.
The power of the wig. He's in disguise, okay? He is hiding from the men in yellow. So he, like Julie, he popped the wig on. He's like, he's never gonna find me now. He's never gonna be able to know where I am.
You ain't gonna find anyone through that fucking thing. That's like trying to trudge through the jungle with nothing but a butter knife. You're fucked. But yeah, no, it's great. Again, the memes and the jokes and the comedic kind of scenes that have come out of season 4 have been probably the best in terms of like that aspect. Like every season has some really good memes. Like the Fatima Martin meme is all-time fucking classic one. Love that one. We'll never get sick of that one. The Boyd and White is another really good one. When they swapped Boyd and White and Boyd's head. But when it comes to season 4, it has produced some of the funniest memes that we have gotten out of the entire series. Right from the very beginning, whether it was the demonic Kool-Aid Man, NPC Roger, Fire Mitts, the wig, like we have gotten just comedy gold out of this season. Yeah, the power of the wig compels
This is how you beat the man in yellow. The power of the wig compels you, and then you throw holy water on him. This is how you beat him.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
my
if you
God,
really want to defeat the man in yellow, all you got to do is take the wig and just put it on his head, and he fucking melts instantly. Like it's his Achilles, it's his kryptonite. The wig, that's it. Takes him out. Fucking melts right away.
Somebody said the boy in white plopped the wig on his head because he's hiding from his warrants. Because you know how we were saying, like, why does this dude like show up in the bushes, but he doesn't help Victor when he's getting arrested?
He's got warrants. He's going to get arrested along with Victor.
He's got it in his whole new identity.
He's gonna open cases.
You know what those cases are? They're probably white crime, like white collar crime. It's
Totally
probably the
white
stock
collar
market,
crime, yeah.
manipulating the
Stealing
stock
Victor's
market.
speeches the whole time.
It's something like that because he does look like he's on his second divorce and he owns property
things
in
are not going too
Hawaii.
good.
Yeah.
He didn't even get left a dog. He's really going through
Insider
a rough time.
trading. That's the vibe that I get from him. If he has committed a crime, it's probably gonna be something with the stock market.
Yeah, I could see him wig trading on the wig at the
The lightning strike brings humidity to the wig and it gets bigger and bigger.
Shit. Oh fuck.
Maybe the children can hide under there. That's where the children.
That's how you save the children. You smuggle them out of Frogville under the fucking wig.
Maybe those are the bones of the parents and
Carry
the
the
bones of
fucking
the
bones right
children.
in that wig.
Oh my god.
He does. He looks so stressed, doesn't he?
He does.
looks
He's like,
so-
dude,
he's
had it,
over
Victor.
it. He's so over all of this shit. He's over Victor. He's over Ethan. He's over all of this shit. He's aging now. He's getting older and older. And he's just so fucking done with this shit now. He wants it over. He wants it done.
He is so over it. Look at his face. He's like, seriously, Victor? Seriously, right now? You're having this
Seriously?
moment? Like, go and do what I said, dude.
the fuck
And then
over
he
there and
says,
stop
he
them.
doesn't even say, hey, Victor, it's important. Go tell them. He's so over it. He's like, I told you. It's important. Like, he reminds him, like, this isn't the first or the second time, Victor. You tried to chop it down. I told you don't do it. He's pissed. He's over it. That's why he's like, you know what, man, yellow, kill him. You know what? Get him. At this point, I don't care.
He is, yeah. He's 2 seconds away from switching sides. He's had it. He fucking had it with all these fucking Victors, all these Ethans, all these Mirandas, all these Tabithas, all these reincarnated idiots that can't get anything right. He's so fucking over it. He's done.
All this,
Wow.
you know what did it for him? He probably saw Elgin. He
He
probably
saw Elgin walk up to Sophia with that photo
My-
and he was
My team is the humans, the men in yellow, Sophia. He sees Elgin through the diner's window, giving Sophia the
handing her
damn
that
photo.
picture.
And that's why he has this face. He's like, I've so had it with you guys.
So
I swear
fucking
to
done.
God. That is why his face is like that. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He's like, I seriously put that photo in there so you guys could figure her out.
Oh God.
I can't with you guys. That's why. Maybe he is. People have been saying that the boy in white and the man in yellow are one and the same.
Are one and the same, yeah.
And maybe it's Elgin. It's seeing Elgin through the diner's window doing this huge, blunder that made him switch. And he's like, you know what? I'm not on the human side. Take him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so over it. He's done. He's so done with this shit. He just wants to be over. yeah, just end the cycle for my boy in white already. He's had enough. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Fuck this. I'm done. You guys are on your own.
Final episode of From.
Boy in white tells Julie, you can leave, but the wig stays.
He lets them all out. Leave the wig with me. Oh my gosh.
Oh fuck, you guys are fucking great.
That's so funny.
Oh god, gotta love it. Well, here we have it, folks. One episode left as we approach the finale. Again, the memes and the laughs you guys have given us all season have been fucking great. Have been just as good, if not better, than the show itself.
Thank God. This is how I feel though. Like now looking at him, this is how I feel every time I was watching like the episode. I was like, and with Elgin, the last episode, this was my face and my hair the entire time. I was like, what? Like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me with this arresting Victor. Elgin gives her the photo. This was the face that I think all of us had. Like, he expresses our emotion better than any words,
It's that universal fuck around and find out face. That's the face that's fucking like right now.
He's so over.
Fuck around and find out. Get over there and stop that tree from getting.
Maybe the actor's over it too. Yeah, maybe the actor's over it too. He's like, I signed this contract when I was a kid, and now they keep calling me. They keep putting me in this little white outfit, and I really want to break the contract. Playing the little boy in white, they're putting me in the bushes, and I signed it back when I was 5 years old. So I'm right here. Here I am.
Oh man. Yeah, me too. Stress through each episode. Which character has been stressing you out besides Elgin? For me, it's been Kenny. I love him, but he makes me look like this. Yeah, man. Which character has been stressing me out the most? Henry's up there. Henry's been stressing me the fuck out. That fucking dude. But no, Sophia. Probably Sophia's been stressing me out the most with some of the stuff that she's been doing. It's Henry and Sophia have been just stress.
Yeah. I think for me, it's everybody in town, honestly. All of them collectively, this is my face every time. They refuse to communicate for 4 seasons. Here comes Sophia with her malevolent look and her weird smiles. And they're like, hey, let me tell you the plan and show you all of the props that we're about to do. So first, we're going to go into it's like, dude, this is my face. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're telling her everything, really? Oh my God, dude. Like, I can't.
The actor is so done playing the creepy ass kid in the woods.
He is.
He's over.
He signed the contract when he was like 5 years old. He was having fun. He was still smiling. When he was 5 years old, he was pointing at these, like, go into the tree, smiling, giving us his creepy little look, saying hi. And now it's been years, and they keep calling him back to film every single season, putting him in this white little outfit. He's over it. He's like, all my friends at school are going to see. All my friends at school are going to see this.
They're all wondering why I'm dressed in that weird white suit. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
He's like, I've turned down so many roles for this. Right, because they can't film when they're already like filming something. So he has had to like turn down, the Harry Potter reboot, all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Missing out on playing Hagrid on the Harry Potter reboot. It's too bad he's got the fucking wig for it. He'd make a great
Oh.
Hagrid. Oh, fuck me. But yeah, I mean, the roasting has been so fun. It's been so fucking fun this season. All of the roasts, all of the, accidental comedy that From has given us this season. It has been fun. It's been very, yeah, he's got a mortgage and the housing market is tough. Got him some slack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got real world problems. Our Morgan White, he's got to worry about the mortgage, the gas bill, electric. It's tough out there in Fromville. Think all that electricity it just comes out of nowhere? No, he's footing the bill for all of it by stress.
He's footing the bill. That's why he's
He can't keep up with the electric bill in Fromville. That'll age anybody.
he's the one that's buying all of the cattle and the food.
Morgan White is thinking my mom promised me the show would only last a year. Oh, fuck.
But that's true. They gave him a new outfit. The chat is saying they noticed like he used to wear a short sleeve.
He
And
would.
now they gave him a long sleeve to cover, they
Oh, fuck.
it's so funny the way they want to make him feel look small because they did cover his arms to make him feel like to make him look to us like he's smaller, and they put him behind the bush and they never show
Leave
you
them all
his
out.
feet anymore.
never see
Next
his
time you see him, clock it. You never see his feet. You know
No, you
why?
don't
Because
see
they're
his
like a
feet
size
anymore. He's just got
11.
a
That's
size
why.
12 foot now. Yeah, he's walking around like Shaq. He's got to get custom fucking shoes just to fit into the fucking things.
That's why you never see his feet because they're a dead giveaway.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, it must be hot in that uniform. That's the real stress. Yeah, true. Especially if they're filming during summer. Oh, man. Wow. All right. There we have it, folks. Yeah, he's got some Ronald McDonald to him. Yeah. Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
a full-on
I see it, I
sleeve
see it.
tat now. Yeah, that's why. He had to cover up his tattoos. New suit. Oh, fuck.
I love his face though. This is just how I feel. This is like I love it. He's like, I'm still gonna show up for you. I'm still gonna show up this is me every single Saturday. I'm still gonna show up. I'm gonna be here. But this is how I feel about what's
How I
happening in
feel
the
about what
town.
we're
It's
about to
like
watch.
I'm here. But
We're
this is my
here, but
attitude.
this is what we're about to watch. This is the look. Oh, fuck. But yeah, here we have it, folks. That is going to do it for us tonight on this fine Wednesday evening, or now Thursday morning if you're on the East Coast. But yeah, yeah, this is AI.
Exclusive.
Or who
This is
knows?
an
Maybe it's
exclusive.
legit. It's an
It's an
exclusive sneak
exclusive. This is episode 10, how it opens.
This is episode 11.
11. Oh.
This is the secret episode we're getting after episode 10. Shit. But yeah, there we have it, folks. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us on this fine evening. Raven and I will be back tomorrow night with another edition of the Fromville Hour, and then PM and I will probably do another one on Friday. We're going to probably do From streams every day leading right up into the finale. This is the last week after all, so we might as well make the most of it and dive into all the craziness, continue all of the roasting, which has been fucking phenomenal. You guys are fucking hilarious. I love you all. And yeah, I will see all of you guys tomorrow. And if you have not subscribed to PM's channel, definitely get over there and give her a sub. Now is the perfect time. PM just uploaded an awesome theory video. Definitely get over there, check it out, give her a sub. The link to it is in the description below.
Yay. 86 hours now, you guys. 86 hours till the finale.
86 hours. And we will be right here counting down each and every single one of them with each and every one of you. So again, big thank you to each and every one of you. Stay safe out there, ladies and gents. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Aunt Cooey.